I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nominations for 2026 chair.
Morris, I nominate Dan.
Marlis, I nominate Craig Miller.
Any more nominations?
I would request that the two candidates say whether or not they want to be chairman or not. Because I have no idea if either of them wants to be chairman. I'd like to know.
Well, I did visit with Craig before I wasn't gonna just throw him out there, so.
No, that's fine. I was just curious.
I'll take it, but I really don't care to take it. If somebody else wants to honor it and serve it, I'm no problem with it.
And I don't want to postpone you.
No. The vote will reflect what it's gonna be.
I was just curious more than anything, because I'll say it because if I would've got nominated, I would either declined it or told you not to vote for me. I didn't, I don't plan on running again, and so I wouldn't want it, so.
And I think it's good to rotate. If we're gonna do it like you talked, it's good to rotate.
I will make one argument that it was agreed upon, just verbally, that it should try to rotate, yearly might be a little strong, cause sometimes it takes a few months just to get your wings, but I think every 2 years is sound, so I don't think it'd be wrong if Dan was chairman again. I don't think it'd be wrong if Craig took it, but just for the sake of curiosity, cause sometimes these things happen and so-and-so got chairman, I didn't really want it, but I didn't say no, well, I mean, does somebody want to be chairman?
Well, and how does it work then? Your last meeting, if you do not rerun,
If I wouldn't rerun, would be
which you
one.
indicated you.
November.
I may not, yeah.
So it would be November, so then just the vice chair would step in December.
I would say if the chairman did get unseated, then that's the vice chairman's job to run the meeting, and then in January you'd reorganize. So
I guess I wasn't 100% sure how long you stay after, and that's why I contacted Craig, but I agree 2 years is probably a good, you get your.
The first year, I'll tell you what, that first year is.
Yeah.
Learning
Yeah,
deal.
absolutely, so.
Big time.
Alright, that answers my questions.
Okay, I have 2 nominations. You guys wanna do a paper ballot, or how do you want to do this?
I suppose we should do a ballot.
I think it's,
Can we turn the heat down here a little bit, please?
I told Craig to yesterday, and that is stuck. The valve on that heat is stuck.
Excellent.
More sweatshirt today. I'm sweating.
She's a smoke.
I can open the window.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, why don't you, when it's hot.
I'd like to make a motion that first order of business for the new chairman is to get a fan put in here for the day. It is pretty warm. It's warm. I'll be fine, but it is warm. It is warm.
Valve is stuck in the radiator.
Well, yeah, they don't get off once they hit the certain temperature.
Okay, here I got.
oh, you got some money?
I got one too.
You're on
You'll
the
know which
ball.
one's mine.
You got more questions?
Yes, that's legal, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm gonna run around the courthouse, come back and vote a second time.
I'll use one then. You got an extra one or you got 2?
Set them, you want to collect the votes?
I got the farthest block. I'll grab them.
Good, man.
Dun, 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 dun. Fuck is your will. Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
You too. Yeah.
We got 1 vote for Materi. 1 vote for Miller. 1 vote for Miller. 1 vote for Materi. 1 vote for Materi.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I got it here for 1 more year. That's good.
I think that's it. It's right, it takes a year to, for a year to get.
It does. 2 years is probably the proper term. I think anytime after that. As someone who's been the chairman, it is a lot of extra responsibility, and that's why taking it on for too long is probably unfair, because there's things you get blamed for that really aren't all your fault either. But you're looked as the leader, so you take it, and that's why that responsibility should be shared, at least in certain ways.
How many years did you have?
3,
That's a long time.
yeah, it was a year too much.
Good.
That too gives you some experience, and you can help the next guy out, and the vice chair can move in if he's, you know, it's, yeah.
Yep.
There's some progression, for sure.
We have to do for vice chair,
Yeah,
Mark?
it's up to you now, you take over now.
Yeah, I think we should, chair, call for nominations for vice chair of 2026.
I'll make a motion to nominate Craig Miller for vice chairman.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'll nominate James Gardner.
Is there a second to that?
Do you need a second for nominations?
Probably not, do we?
Oh, great, sir.
We'll call for a
Is
vote.
it ready? Call for a vote.
Yep.
Hand out those slips.
You got one, you got some there.
Well, I tore up this envelope that I had.
Well, that
so
was
I-
good.
that-
Huh? Aaron has.
You have some?
Aaron has some
I'll do
extras.
it.
He's got things.
He's
He's
prepared.
I was just gonna throw it away, so see, look at us just repurposing stuff.
thinking,
They were perfect.
yeah.
Look at your envelope.
Yeah.
Does anybody want 2 ballots, or not just?
You gotta run around the courthouse to vote twice. Come from a different direction. I want you to see mine, see through my paper.
Mine either. That's why I fold it twice.
There you go.
As if she would get.
One vote for Miller. Another vote for Miller. Another vote for Miller. Another vote for Miller. And another vote for Miller.
There you go.
Well, I guess you're right.
Gardner doesn't even
I
vote
guess
for
it is
himself,
Miller.
I love. That's the way we like it.
Way to go. Congratulations, big boy.
Yeah. Well deserved.
Congratulations, Craig.
Approval of the minutes. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah, I did. I read through.
Yeah, I did.
I make a motion to approve.
Jim makes a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Second by Gil Magrum. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approval of the agenda. Anybody wants to add anything, or?
Just a little bit of, it's not really agenda items, but just notes before, so I don't forget. The city of Hazelton is gonna be doing a paving project. And the pavement coming off the highway it'd be the township road at Hazelton, right, Missouri Valley A. That pavement is atrocious. So we either need to consider, since they have a paving crew in town, if we're gonna do something, or if not, I think we need to reduce it back to gravel, cause something's gotta get done, just leaving it the way it is, it's terrible, it's potholed and that, so,
Was that paved all the way up to 34?
I don't believe so.
No.
I think that was that might even, in the state might contribute, I don't know the whole situation, but with a paving crew literally in town, it's kinda now or never with that thing, if the state or us or whoever wants to just fix that. I think it's maybe 50 feet off the highway, it's not much, but it's just in terrible shape, it needs to either get eliminated or fixed, so.
How far is the state right of way off that? Does the state take care of that?
Well, I think there's a partnership with the city, in more engineering is working with them now, cause Hazelton has, I think, 3 or 4 entries off 83 and probably 34.
Yeah.
So the state's already working on it anyway, so that's where, after going to the public hearing last night, now's the time. They're talking about it, it's already a process, there's already a contractor. It's as cheap now as it'll ever be, and if we're not gonna do it, then we have to eliminate it.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, 83 is getting done this upcoming year, but I don't know what I just know that they were coming through Linton. So I assume maybe from Hazelton to the state line, or, I don't know. That was what I was told, because
I
there was,
have no idea.
I just,
like, we have guys that live along 83, and they pay the same fee, even if the road in front of them's not done, you know, cause they live in the city, so. But I think, if I remember right, Brian Jacob had mentioned that 83 is gonna get done here in 20.
I just wanted to add that as a note to make sure we discuss it with Russ and get that solved before it gets too late, so. It's just something that came up last night.
So he'd have to approach the engineer first.
Yeah, well, no, I think if anything, we just at least have to iron it out with the state, maybe they're gonna pay for it, maybe they do 50-50. I don't know, and then if we make that decision, then we probably have to approach City of Hazelton on just partnering with them on that project, so their contractor will come do it, so that's all, it's just something that we need to make sure we get some things ironed out, so.
Okay,
I always thought that was the state's deal there.
And it could be, but either way, we at least need to
It's a
discuss if we're gonna,
mess.
we gotta do something with it, cause I know maintenance is usually up to us on that stuff, so we at least gotta,
Okay.
if we don't want it fixed, then we don't have to talk to anybody, we just tear it out and put gravel on it, but if we do want it fixed, now's the time to do it, so. Anyway,
okay. Anything else? Okay. Then we'll move on to old and unfinished business.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. There's a second by Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Old and unfinished business. Request from Emmons County Weed Board President to increase the board monthly meeting pay. We discussed last month. You guys thought about it?
Yeah, I looked at different counties, but I couldn't really find any. I guess maybe I don't know where to look, Marlis, but I couldn't find, what is
On
it?
the ACO website, they would have with the fees.
Yeah. Well, if they got room in the budget, I have no problem. But maybe they should have waited until.
I did look into Century Code, I couldn't find anything that says you can't as long as it doesn't interfere with budgets.
Yeah.
And then, I do believe they do have to request it from the commissioners for a pay increase, that's why they came to us, so
Okay.
it's not really like outside of their budget, it maybe they could have asked for it before the budget process was a part of it, that maybe would have been a little cleaner, but I think they're kind of doing everything right, so what was the request again?
I think another 50.
Another 51
Meeting,
per
so
meeting.
it was going up to 150?
150, right, Marlo?
Yeah.
I thought it was at 100 to 150.
Yeah.
I don't think that's out of line anyway.
Well, I talked to CJ, and I said, what do the members of this board actually do? He says, well, they're like us, they take calls from people to check weeds out and so forth. And they do more than just come to the meetings.
Oh, yeah.
So there's some back, yeah,
Yeah, there's other things they do besides.
I believe that.
It's 150 now, and they're requesting to go to 200.
I was thinking
Oh,
that.
I thought it was 150, my bad.
But that's just for their meeting attendance, right, essentially?
Right,
So it's not like it's like an increase to an annual salary or something,
which they don't get paid anything else, just.
Right,
There's no benefits, no other.
No.
And it does take quite a bit of time.
That's probably been at that rate for the last 15 years.
yeah, well, again, I'll tell you, I mean, you guys, we're gonna go through it here with seeking nominations to these boards. It's difficult to find people that wanna serve, if you want them to serve, you gotta at least
Pay them.
compensate for a day's loss, cause even a 3-hour meeting screws up the whole day. You meet at 9-10 o'clock and you're not getting done till noon or 1, it's not a whole lot, yeah, you can get things done, but still, if you're in the middle of harvest, it's $200 worth.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Not worth it. No.
It's hard to get people that wanna serve, and if you do, they can't basically be giving it away, there's a level of civic duty, but it's also gotta come with some compensation, so. I would make the motion to approve the request for the Emmons County Weed Board.
Okay, Eric makes a motion to accept and approve the $50 increase.
I'll second.
Second by Gardner. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Committee to assist with the merger of the Clinton City Municipal Airport decided how the board is structured. Craig Schirmeister was accepted and adopted, right, to be on that board?
So they have a full board. And then I'm on that committee, but I haven't really heard anything, nobody's contacted me about an upcoming meeting or anything, so I think as of now, it's.
It's just an issue that. Yeah, the board's the one that needs to set this up, I would
Yeah.
assume, cause they're, you'll need the board there to talk this whole thing over, this committee should involve the board.
Right.
So So what do we gotta do, just wait for Roger?
Well, I would say
He's the
we just
chairman,
leave it
right?
on there as old and unfinished business. I mean, we got a board member or a guy that's gonna be on the committee to help set this up. I think that the board needs to be the one that, I mean, I guess you can always take the bull too.
Well, I was just gonna say, the only thing is, I'll just start scheduling meetings, and if they don't come, I'll just start making decisions, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, and I'll be loud and clear about it, if this doesn't start getting sorted out before the next budget, that's the first thing I'm gonna recommend gets cut, so.
Get rid of it.
That airport board wants our help, and it's fine, and they've been here enough, but if their expectation is to just talk until they get into the budget, and then just let things go back the way they were, that's gonna fly for about another 6 months.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
that, if they're watching this meeting or something, if the message they wanna hear is what to do, it's get on it, because I'm not gonna serve on a committee that just goes to meetings and drinks coffee for 20 minutes and doesn't act like nothing has to change.
I mentioned that a month.
If
or
it
2 months
doesn't
ago.
change, then it's gonna have to go to the county support, I think.
Well, one of the board members that's there on the council felt like everything was hunky-dory, and I said, it's not. This was on the chopping block before it even got on the agenda to raise the mills for this. And I said, it won't be there next year if this doesn't get ironed out, you guys need to start getting on this whole deal. I told them that, I told the city, this
One time.
four mills or 3.6 mills or 7 mills will not be there next year if things don't get sorted out here. That's what I told them. I said, I can tell you that already.
I'll
So,
make the motion to cut it out myself.
yeah.
They
no, I-
need to drive this process to at least start the talks, like if I gotta line up every meeting and do everything either, then we'll just get rid of it.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
doesn't need to
right.
be, it
We
doesn't,
don't need it.
well, and nobody needs to be holding their hand, they should be, I mean, they came in all these months and said they needed this stuff, and that's fine, well, now the work has to continue.
That's right.
The work's not over, it just began.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
It's a long way.
I'll wait to see till they schedule a meeting, or I'll just start making plans for next year.
There you go, that's fair.
Okay.
Sounds good. Message is clear though.
If they watch this.
Oh, I'm sure.
I hope they do, I don't care if they're
No,
not.
right.
Yeah, I've reiterated exactly what you're saying to the city in the council meeting, not this past one, but I believe the one before, and they know.
Well, that's all you can do.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll go on to item 3, got discussion on selling a 2013 Ford Explorer.
We put it on last month,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys want us to sell it?
Well, I know we kinda talked originally about throwing that out at the airport, cause if we're gonna take this on, cause they have a horrible courtesy, full of mice, duct tape, whatever else, and this probably ain't worth much. But yet if we have an interested buyer, could probably figure something else out, but, I mean, this vehicle probably isn't worth much, it's probably would be better served out there, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, but.
I would say the way this airport thing's going, I don't know if I give them anything.
Well, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, cause I would like to see a lot more progress and, less talk, more action myself
Yeah.
on the airport stuff. That's just kind of my opinion, I know we originally talked about using it that way, and, I guess I'm fine either way, though, I kind of am feeling the way that it's been reiterated here, that there's not much action going on in the airport authority, and it's kind of frustrating me as well. So, I can honestly say I could care less one way or the other about this
Yeah.
vehicle, if we decide to sell it outright, then we sell it outright.
Cause we need a vehicle to go to Kansas and buy a
Yeah,
damaged title vehicle,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. For about-
If that comes and it materializes, that's my opinion.
I mean, it's no different, this is Emmons County taxpayer money, or they take it out of money from the airport, which some of it is Emmons County taxpayer money if they need another courtesy vehicle, I mean, it's a wash here, so.
I mean, I think you can put it out for bids, what do you
Yeah.
get for it?
That's what you do.
Cause it's got what, 250,000 miles on it?
200 and some thousand, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
So
brilliant.
put it out on bids?
I would say just put it out.
I
on
think
bids.
that's a fair way to do it.
What do you wanna do, Galen, make a motion, or just put it on bids and go from there?
I'll make a motion to put it out on bids.
Just Edwards makes a motion to put it out on bids, there's
I'll second.
second by Mayor,
Do you
all
have
in
a-
favor?
Do you have a
Go ahead.
starting price or not?
I think just,
Just make an offer.
what is it, no holds or whatever, they're just, yeah.
Last right of refusal.
Yeah, the right
Yeah,
to
we
reach out
have
to
the
all
right.
Yeah, yeah, you just have, yeah.
We have the right to,
Yeah, last right of refusal.
yeah.
I don't know. You just gonna put it on bids through like the auditor's office or something, or?
Yeah,
You've done it before, haven't you?
yeah.
I think that's
The way to go with that.
the way to do it.
Speaking on this as well, we did decide to keep that other sheriff's vehicle, right, last month? Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a fleet of 2 basically, or?
Mm-hmm.
But you said there was a tranny issue,
The
right?
transmission went out, but Gary's got money in his budget, he's just gonna have it, put it in the one in right.
Oh, yeah, the transmission was fixed, and the other one we have, I think, that was Vargas's,
Right.
and now this one went out too.
Yeah.
Is that the gray one set by the north side?
I believe so.
Okay,
Oh,
cause
the
Gary
one-
walked back there yesterday, that must be that towel.
Well, there's 2,
Yeah.
there was 2 of them parked there, one still had the stickers on it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, the
Okay.
sheriff's stickers, but the lights and everything were off, but it's still.
You get a new tranny in there, that'll go for a while.
Oh, yeah,
We're ready to
those are
go.
good vehicles, well, you took one, you said.
Well, you
And
like
and it worked good? Yeah, we took, no, we took we took one too, but it was in route, it needed a little work, and that got done too, Craig.
How many miles are on that towel?
I think it's just a little over 100.
Well, see, that ain't high.
That's low.
That's low.
I mean,
Okay, anything else in that, guys?
Well, you gotta.
Hold on.
You gotta vote on it.
Yeah, there was a motion and a second. All in favor of keeping or putting it up for bid on the 2013 Ford Explorer?
Aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Motion carried. Revisit the Hall Road agreement. On this wind battery project.
yeah, I think Aaron had some.
Well, my main concern was just that if it's a big enough project, if we wanna have somebody overseeing it, make that a part of it. You know, and if you do, you'd have a corresponding fee for the haul road agreement essentially, I mean, that's, you know, I mean, whether you just, I mean, that's probably my biggest concern, I don't, the rest of the haul road agreement, I mean, there's probably some things you could maybe change in there, or make some more demands on maybe some bonding or something or whatever, just for road damage and stuff, which I don't think is out of line. I did look into some bonding requirements, they're kinda all over the place, so I don't know if there's really a lot of, you know, guidance from Century Co. I mean, I've heard of everything from, you know, 5% to the, you know, of like if you're doing a bid project, you have to post a bond of at least 5% of the bid, and then there's like a performance bond, and then, you know, there's any variety of things you can do, so I mean, those are all just kind of things that are up for discussion, or, you know, do you, normally with a haul road agreement, not always, but normally it's corresponding with a project that you're probably requiring a bond for that project, so I don't know if you,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, just the main thing about it is you gotta be protecting your roads, that's the whole point of the haul road agreement, and the process before has always been, the road guys go out and meet with Company A, and they maybe video records some of the roads, mostly the damaged spots, I would assume. I mean, you don't need to record a perfectly fine road, you just go, hey, we know this hole exists, and we know this culvert's bad, we're not gonna hold you to that. And then at the end of the project, if that's the only damage, then there's really not a problem, if there's any damage other than that. But then that's the process of, if you would've caught that damage before it was really bad with like an inspector and you had them fix it, rather than trying to recoup money or trying to claim against a bond, or, you know, that's where I feel like with the wind tower project, that's where we missed out, is just having somebody out there every day. Because it's hard to expect your sheriff and your road superintendent, county commissioners to go out and make sure that this is all done.
Yeah.
And I think if you're gonna do that, just like we talked about the weed board, you gotta pay them.
yeah,
You come up with $300 a day and times that by the number of days of the project, and that's gonna be your fee for the haul road, you know. If it's a 3-day project, it's not a big deal. If it's a 3-month project, someone's gonna have to be out there every day, they need to, you know. I mean,
But I'm sure you don't have the manpower, do you, Russ, to be out there every day?
no.
No way.
No, you have somebody out there every day, they get to know the system out there, what's coming and what's not.
well, and even, again, the certification and the verification of the proper permits.
Right.
Making sure that, you know, cause we do have whole road permit process. And we do that not to gouge money, but to protect us from road damage. So if you're not collecting that permit fee, they're running excessively over your roads at no cost, which apparently, then, I mean, eventually that goes on to us and the taxpayers. So that's the reason for the process. You have to have some enforcement with it. And,
And there's three ways in there, right? North, south, and from the east or the west end.
and so, I mean, I think there's probably people within the county that would be interested in looking for a summer job if it was, you know what I mean? Like, there's just probably a handful of people out there that you could get that would go out there every day for, you know, whatever, 7 to 4, 8 to 5, whatever, and I think these companies should be paying for that as part of that, like, that's the end result, like,
Absolutely.
the daily rate, and that should be a part of a fee, like, you know, you're gonna be here for 3 months, this is what we're gonna require, it's gonna cost you
Yeah.
$50,000 or whatever, and that's just how it's kinda gonna be. I mean,
Do we
that's-
address like dust control and those type of things in that whole road agreement?
I think you can adjust any of those things.
Yeah.
Most companies, it seems, have been pretty good about, like, it's kind of a normal thing for a big company and a big project. But it's the enforcement, just cause they tell you they're gonna water the roads, and
Right.
find out later that they didn't do as good a job as they
Yeah.
said, well,
Well,
you
the
don't have someone
watering
out there
never,
every day.
watering never seems to be the answer either, when they just drive around without tons of water on it, and then heavy crap goes across it, and it just, it would almost be nice to have chemical dust control on this road if it's gonna be a longer process, you know, than a few days or.
Well, and I think those are the things that would be up to, like, I mean, obviously the county commission, but that's where like your road superintendent's involved with like the overall management of the process, but that's why you have this person that's gonna report to probably the road superintendent, like, every day, how's it going out there? Well, like, this, and this, and then Russ can, okay, I can look at 2 spots on a road on my way to a project and address if it's something that's a big deal or not. But then that way Russ isn't out there every day, cause then if there is a hole, then it's like, where's the road department? Well, they're doing the million other things we give them to do throughout the year.
Right.
You know, we can't expect them to be out babysitting this
No.
12 miles of road all summer when there's, you know, 1,000 other miles of road that needs attention. So that's the process that gets us so that when this project's over, we don't have a bunch of people coming later and going, they left a bunch of gravel in the grass and they didn't fix this culvert they wrecked and they drove over this. That's what, you know, and then if our inspector doesn't catch it, then it is our fault. That's, I mean, that's the process.
They won't have to widen the intersections like they did with the turbines.
I don't think it's gonna be that big a deal, yeah, and like, this project is probably not a huge deal, but there's still gonna be dust control issues, there's still gonna be probably speed control issues.
Yeah.
There's still gonna be width issues and some traffic control scenarios where, you know, somebody's gonna have to kinda be out there making sure that they're flagging these routes and they have maybe a pilot car that's going ahead and stopping a grain truck from, or, you know, somebody's hauling fertilizer in the spring. Now you've got a huge load coming, or 3 huge loads, these guys need to know, like, that's the kind of stuff we're gonna get those calls on. That they ran them off the road and they, well, that, we should have someone out there doing that stuff.
They should even have their own blade, cause it'll take us how long, Russ, out there all the time? They'll keep what got busy with it.
Yeah, it takes Al roughly a day to blade from Tenvick out to 21st there.
Right.
That's pretty much a day.
So if they hired a company to bring a blade and an operator, that wouldn't be a bad thing, would it?
Would you want them on the county road, their blade?
Well, if, that could be yes or no, that if there can be good to that and there can be bad to that, I guess.
Well, the big thing, I don't have the whole road agreement in front of me, but they're responsible for the maintenance of the road while they're using it. That doesn't mean they have to blade it, but then they would have to pay us to blade it, or, you know what I mean? When they take that haul road agreement and that specific haul road is designated as something they are under contract on, that's where and I don't remember, I'd have to go ahead and read it again here, but that's their responsibility is for maintenance, dust control. And like you said, if they're not gonna hire a blader, that's not what they do. When they did the wind towers, Blattner had a dozen of them out here and they were blading the road.
Okay.
If that's not how they're gonna run this project, then they're gonna have to, you know, pay for maintenance either from, that way at least if we're getting reimbursed for that, cause we shouldn't be blading the road extra for them. That's not our responsibility, that's part of the haul road agreement.
Yeah.
And unless we agree to that, we're like, oh, we'll blade it for that, should be in the haul road agreement. That's a specified, it's a contract, just like anything else,
So
so.
the attachment.
If Russ is like, no way, we're not gonna do that, we don't have the manpower to do it unless we're getting paid
Dearly.
$500 a mile, whatever the rate is or something, then that needs to be in the
Yeah.
contract, so.
Yeah.
That's the big thing to remember with the haul road agreement. I mean, a lot of that stuff is already spelled out, but it can be altered or modified, and then they have to agree to it too, so obviously you're kind of negotiating it as you go. I mean, there's certain things you can concede on and certain things you can add.
So this process starts once the Public Service Commission denies or approves it, hopefully approves
It
it?
can happen right now, really.
Okay.
They can discuss a whole road agreement right now if they want. It's just if the project doesn't happen, I mean,
Right.
I'm sure they're gonna, but usually it's pre-construction. So if
Okay.
construction's gonna start in March or April, you'd figure they're gonna come in here in the next month or two and that's. And
Okay.
the other thing about it with enforcement though is that's our job to enforce that they have a haul road agreement. Expecting them to come in and bring it forward, most of these companies do have a haul road agreement, by the way, too, and it's generally different than ours. Because they take next year, had their own, and with the wind towers, they had their own. It wasn't bad, but it was different. I mean, there's some things in there that they're trying to relieve themselves of, it's like any other business or contract, so. It's just, but that's our job to enforce that. Once we start seeing any kind of traffic, or if this thing starts, they need to know that they have a haul road agreement.
Yeah.
And so also, if you talk to any of these guys, or if they do just make a comment, or if they start calling out to the road shop, asking you questions, or
And they
state's
have,
attorney, anybody.
Clint and Mike actually reached out to me here about a month or so ago in response to this here and stuff like that. They seem very open to pretty much anything. They just wanna get on the same page, agree to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem very open to working with whatever we came up with.
Next era probably signs 100 road agreements a year, it's not gonna be a big deal for them, but this whole road agreement, I mean, technically, anybody building a feedlot out there, anybody building, any of these massive projects, even ag-related, anything, if they have a big contractor hauling things in, there really should be a haul road agreement, even if it's only for a couple days, because,
Just like that bridge out there by Singers.
yeah,
Bringing these cranes in, that was a big deal, and they hauled them out when it was muddy, wet, soft, and they had a commitment elsewhere, so they just hauled.
well, cause, I mean, technically, the road is public right of way.
Yeah.
Damage is a hard thing to specify.
Yeah.
That's why you need, the haul road agreement is the law for that, because it is state and century code. I don't wanna say we have unilateral control, we have a lot of leeway when it comes to a haul road agreement, cause there are roads, even the state is just like, they kind of
Oh, yeah.
push that on the counties.
Sure.
And so that is our responsibility to enforce that too, so remember that when there are a project or you hear about something, especially the road department, like, somebody gives you any wind that they're coming in for 3-4 days on some big heavy crane deal, we really should visit about a haul road agreement, cause if they're gonna be hauling in, especially anything that's getting like a load pass permit,
Oh, yeah.
it should really almost have a haul road agreement with it, because you pay $6,000, but you do 100,000 in damage, that permit's useless too, I mean, so that's just something to consider going forward, because the stuff is becoming more common now, we need to really be up on it, so.
You wanna step up and help us, Russ, we're open to input on it,
Well, I think we should contact them and try to get a feel for the length of time that they think that this construction
Yeah,
is gonna take, and then we can sit down and figure out if we do wanna hire somebody. I mean, I think it's a good idea
right.
that we look into hiring somebody, and Aaron's spot on. We just need to figure out a per day fee for that person or pay for that person, and then that's just gonna be the deal, and then the rest of
My
it.
only recommendation, which you really don't have to make that decision today, I just think revisiting the whole road agreement should stay on the agenda, but the big thing about it, I think we should do, because when I went through with NextEra for the wind generation project, there were it's itemized things on a list, like A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And they were things that were just like, well, that's not really necessary, cause you're gonna take care of that, or okay, well then you would just like strike it off the agreement. Whether that's right or wrong, that's basically how the negotiation went. So what I think we should do is we should just have in our haul road agreement that we want like a daily rate for an inspector.
Yeah.
And then through the course of these projects or the haul road agreement, well, we want a haul road agreement for 2 weeks, cause the haul road agreement is usually dated. Start date is January 1 till March 1st, okay, well, that's 59 days.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how many days do you expect to work? Well, every day, all 15, okay, 59 times $300, that's your fee.
Yeah.
And then if you don't wanna do that, or they're gonna provide their own, or some reason you just don't wanna hold to that, you can strike it from the agreement.
Yeah.
but I think it should be in the agreement, and then it should be struck off if anything, rather than going, well, we'll come up with it later, I think that should be in the
And we
agreement.
can add and subtract from that agreement with no issues, Joe, right? I mean, that's just our agreement, it's not a,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
I mean, for the most part, from everything I've ever looked into, we can basically demand almost anything.
Pretty much what you
I
want.
mean, within reason, obviously, but still, right, that's where, if you want an inspector and you think it's gonna be $300 a day to get someone to come in and do it, and then that's gonna be your fee for the haul road agreement, that's.
So should we put that on the agenda for next month?
I think just leave it on here, and I think just,
But next month, let's actually let's go through it during the month there, come back with the ideas and see if we can make some changes and get it where we think we want it, and then we can.
Cause it's gonna happen fast.
Well, yeah, it's gonna happen, like you said, construction's March, April, they're gonna be here next month.
Well, I can tell you one thing, if the project's anything like they said they were with this battery deal, they're planning on starting in April or May. They might not get their permit from the PSC till April first, but then April second, they're gonna be shovel ready, so.
Yeah,
I mean, and they should be, there's nothing wrong with that, so yeah, that needs to get ironed out, that would be the big. Other than that, I don't think the haul road thing needs a total overhaul, it's a pretty good agreement, just we need to
just
make
some
sure,
additions or.
fix some little things, so.
Yeah,
Put some more additions, and like you said, we can always delete.
Right,
One,
Go ahead, Jim.
if we wanted to put some weight limits on gravel, is that where we'd put it?
I mean, you can put it on there, but it's just like
You
anything
don't
else,
have-
it'll be the enforcement. You could say you only wanna allow 80,000 pounds on your roads, but
Yeah, who's gonna?
you're just gonna trust that they do that, or you'd have to scale them somehow or do something. You can make demands like that, to my knowledge. When I've looked into it before, the whole road agreement is.
We wouldn't enforce it. so.
Well, you would, and the only other thing would be you'd have to provide some kind of scale ticket, or I don't know, I mean, you can, but you gotta remember, it's to a level of like, you can be too restrictive to where like,
Yeah.
no one will ever get anything done either, so you gotta be cautious of that, but
Yeah.
you could, depending on the project, I think you can, especially, like, maybe not this one specifically, but maybe
Yeah.
another project you have concerns about weight, I think you, as a part of the agreement, be like, hey, you're going by the Hague elevator, we want a scale ticket on every truck. And if they agree to that, I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that,
So
so.
every load would be on a load pass though, wouldn't it? So it would have the weight theoretically?
If it's over the limit, you know, I mean, if they don't go over the limits that require a haul road, but like, you might need 100, you might need, as long as you're under 100, you don't need a haul road pass, but we might wanna keep it to, maybe they're doing a project in April, we wanna keep it under 70,000, well, then you,
Well, in the
that's a
spring,
negotiation you
In the
have to
spring,
have.
it's terrible.
I mean, if you wanna be that restrictive, I believe you can, and then you would have to make it, like you said, either enforce it yourself or be like, hey, every load needs to have a scale ticket, or we're dinging yours. I mean, I think you can have things like that in your haul road agreement.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say just unilaterally you can do anything you want, but those are the kinds of things I think, there's leeway you can negotiate
The
with that.
spring is a tough time of the year on roads.
I
So,
know it
When
is.
that frost is coming out.
it's something to consider, just because in the end, the haul road agreement is your contract to protect your roads, so.
Yeah,
A good contractor's not gonna be a problem, they're not all good, so.
Yep.
right. Yeah. And
So put it on the agenda for next
most
month.
people are pretty good, but, you know.
Okay, anything else, guys? If not, budget clarification, item 5. And the reason I was the one that put it on, and the only reason I asked to put it on, is because of the fact that I attended that summit conference in Bismarck. And there was a lot of feedback and a lot of talk up there, in regards to that cap restriction that the state's putting on us. And I'm just gonna state it just the way I feel. It's been bothering me with what happened in the budget. And this is why I'm bringing it up, given that we are in a new budget year and under the cap restrictions, I just wanna verify that the new pay plan we adopted, including the longevity increases that were granted, is still keeping us in line with the 3% cap requirement. And then I'm just gonna address it, Marlis, being you manage our money. Can you confirm that this, please, will work? And is this plan still affordable, given the budget restrictions? And is it affordable long-term for Emmons County, this longevity?
Yeah, I put it in their budget, we were able to keep it down past the 3%. We're carrying over to 3% carryover.
Okay, see, so many of them up there, they're cutting salaries and they're cutting purchasing of new equipment.
Yeah.
They just said, we don't have the permit like you got on this one deal. These permits are not gonna be every year in this county. This was probably a one-time deal, probably for the next 10 years, who knows? So that's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, that permanent had nothing to do with, though, I mean,
We didn't even know about
you
that.
worked the cap.
The
really-
cap was
you
before
worked
the
the budget
budget.
really well, and we turned out pretty decent. I mean, actually, very decent.
We did.
So we're fine. Okay,
Well,
Go ahead.
the only caveat I'll add to that is that there are a lot of counties that have not combined offices like we have. There are a lot of counties that still have a treasurer, they still have a 911 coordinator,
okay.
they still, every time someone retired in those, and that goes back to the days of, even when Pork Lawler and my dad, and I mean, for the last 20-some years, that's kind of been their mission to a point was, I think what was Rusty Plinus the last treasurer, Marlis?
Yeah.
When Rusty retired, that was already a discussion that basically they took a portion of Rusty's wages and just combined them with another office, which saved us.
Which is good.
What do you think about the benefits and the wages that every office, you take Gary Sanders has 3 hats, 4 hats now, that used to be separate hats, and there's a lot of places that have a recorder and a clerk of courts. I mean, you just look at the overall, budget, the amount of people that almost, even counties smaller than us have several positions that it's kind of surprising that they haven't combined offices, so I think when you compare to other counties, it's difficult sometimes, because we've already done what counties are just starting to do now, which is, do we need 2 people for this one office? We've done that, we did that 20 years ago, so I think that is gonna be a big difference with us. And the other thing to remember is that there is gonna be transitions here, in the next 5 years, a lot of these higher salary positions and these different people, they're gonna be retired. And so that scale is constantly, your top side's gonna get a little lower after retirement, other ones are gonna come up, but it's probably only gonna just offset it or even be underneath. And so even the budget now, 2 years from now, it could be less with salaries, it's there's just some people that are gonna be retiring that are probably towards the top of the pay scale, and maybe they won't even be replaced, or if they will, it's gonna be replaced with a different position at a lower rate or so. I would say for the most part, I wouldn't be too concerned about it, just
Okay.
because I only, just in defense that Emmons County has already ran fairly efficiency. I know it sounds like we're patting ourselves on the back, but even before any of us were on this board, a lot of these offices were combined, the shrinking these other counties you're talking about, Emmons County did that in the early 2000s, so.
Okay,
Very good.
okay, I was just concerned, I just said, I gotta bring it forward just to
Well, it's
clear my.
understandable, but
That's understandable, Ray.
Okay, on the new business side, guys, appoint board members and yearly appointed positions for 2026.
Yeah, as far as mine,
Does everybody have a copy? Did you bring yours? And I have it.
You need one too?
No, I got,
You need one?
I must have left mine.
How about yours? You need one?
Bill,
my 2 guys are gonna stay on, Tim Weber on the Water Resource Board and Corley Ogren on the county.
I guess I never even called anybody. I should have called Andy, I didn't.
Andy Rice?
Andy Home. He's on, housing, so.
Well, was somebody appointed to call or talk to these guys?
If they're in your district.
Yeah, I should have, I can, though.
Jimmy Culver said he would
You did.
do it again for the Water Resource Board.
Okay.
And Gary Griffin also agreed to do it for the Public Health Board.
Oh, you're on the ball.
Mayor? Human Services?
Jim was gonna take that spot.
With,
Oh, yeah, he's right.
There's no more second thoughts,
We
we
had to
volunteer.
pull a couple toenails out of him to get him to do it, but
It's not a bad board to be on, it's not.
Craig, did you find somebody to come to me then?
as long as I can call in sometimes.
Who's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
pay, who's Scott Baumann? That's it, this is okay. Did you talk to anybody about Scott Bauman's position?
Yeah, she said he's not going,
Why, you care?
no. So I'm gonna ask, there's a couple people I have in mind to ask.
I'll talk to Andy.
Okay.
I can,
And with the county committee, they're only really in session when there's an issue, so I don't believe there's an issue now, is there, Marlis?
No.
with the county committee, so.
Only if there's an annexation or.
Right. So I mean, if you don't find anybody right now, I mean, if it's next month, it shouldn't be a big deal with county
Yeah,
committees.
I'll get somebody.
Did you talk to John DeVore, Aaron?
Yeah, John's,
Take,
They'll do it,
John's on, yep.
anybody talk to Andy Holm?
Who?
Andy Holm?
No,
I'll call him, I didn't, I'll let you know though, before, we won't.
okay,
And
anybody else?
if he doesn't, I suppose I'll have to come up, or.
Who's doing the human services
No.
then?
Jim is,
Jim is?
Do it.
no, just leave it go.
Human services.
We
you're
don't wanna
doing
bring
that,
it up.
Jim?
Yes. I don't know, I was trying to talk Craig into it. You wanna do it, Craig?
No, I got this other.
Oh,
zoning
Yeah, we're on the
commission.
planning zoning board, so.
Yeah,
That's
well, I'll
what-
try
that's
it.
gonna
Where is
take
he?
some time.
That's good for you.
It's every other month and I have called in by phone before. so,
Yeah, I
mean,
may,
like,
when I'm
if
busy, I may
it's-
have
If
to
it's
call.
otherwise, you know, usually, like I said, with that one, Marlis and Michelle, I mean, Michelle always goes, Marlis is 9 times out of 10, and I was probably 7 out of 10. And they usually ride together, or if not, I called in, like, if it was in Ellendale and I was in the middle of a broken water line, I did a couple of them basically where I had an earpiece and I was shoveling mud on mute. I mean, I've done it. I mean, you click it in and you vote quick and you listen to it, but if you're in the middle of something, you can
If
call.
I'm harvesting it.
It's a big board, so it's not that hard to get a quorum too. So if you can't make it, I mean, it's,
Just
I made it as much as I could, but there were times where driving all the way to Ellendale for a 2-hour meeting when I was in the middle of something, just
Yeah,
hard to do.
that's what I mean, but,
And then you have to reappoint, or, you know, the first page too, for the 1 year appointments.
oh, right.
Well, I would make a motion to, appoint Christina Sepman to the Director of Tax Equalization, Brad Huber to the VA Officer. I would make the appointment for Marlis Olhauser to be the Risk Manager, and for Gary Sanders to be the 911 Coordinator.
Do we need a second to that?
I'll second that, yeah.
Jim Adler seconds it. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carried.
would also make the motion to appoint Joey Culver, Tim Weber, and John DeVore to the Water Resource Board.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Second.
Miller? Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Alright,
Opposed? Motion carried.
I would make the motion to appoint Gary Griffin to the Board of Public Health.
Second.
Second by Miller. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
alright,
Opposed? Motion carried.
I would make the motion to appoint Andy Holm to the Emmons County Housing Authority.
I did not call him, Aaron, but
I would make the appointment. If he doesn't want it, then
We can step
if he
aside.
does want it, then we're done. If he doesn't want it,
Okay.
the search continues anyway,
Is there
so.
a second to that?
Second.
Gardner? All in favor?
alright,
Opposed? Motion carried.
I would
Anything
nominate,
else?
I would nominate James Vanderhorst to the Emmons County Representative for South Country Human Service Zone Board.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Gardner? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And,
The last one there.
the county committee, I'm not too concerned about, so unless, just,
Corley has, he'll accept it.
I'd make the motion to nominate Coverly Organ to the county, Emmons County Committee.
I'll second.
Second by Gardner. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So is
Motion
it
carried.
the Emmons County Committee or the Emmons County Committee? You might wanna double check that.
County
Committee.
Committee.
I think so.
I would say the one with Scott Baumiller, I'd say just keep looking at it.
Keep
Yeah.
looking.
I don't think, if anything, you could make a quick appointment if something came up or something.
You can do it in February.
Yeah, so I would say you'd have some time with
Okay.
that. Alright,
Okay, guys, good. Next line item is, county deed, the city of Linton for property located on the west 50 feet of the west 50 feet, okay, of lot 12, block 6, Siemens, first edition of Linton, Emmons County, North Dakota.
These are the 3 delinquent properties we took back for foreclosure of taxes. And we're turning them over to the city for consideration of that.
I think we can read all three of them, can I not? Another county deed is the city of Hazelton for property on lot 12, block 3, Roops, first edition to Hazelton, Emmons County, North Dakota. The other county deed is the city of Hazelton for property located on the east 10-foot strip of the south one half of lot 11 and all of lot 12, block 8, original town of Hazelton, Emmons County, North Dakota.
I'll make a motion to deed these to these cities as indicated.
Second.
Second by Miller. Any other discussion in regards to it? All good? Take it to a vote. All in favor?
Alright,
Opposed? Motion carried. Brad Huber, VA quarterly report.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A little more to your packet than I normally give this quarter. It's kind of a combination of quarterly and somewhat of an end of year type setup. The first page here, this is my usual quarterly report that I submit. Some numbers up, some numbers down, but definitely keeping busy. They're coming to the office, which is the important thing. Down at the bottom there, various training requirements throughout the quarter. Conference was in October. And with that, unless you got any questions, I'll segue into the next pages. These two here, if you guys are ever curious what I do twice a week in April and October, this is what I go training for. Lots of information crammed in about 3 days, so if you're curious whether or not I'm getting educated or drinking cold ones in Fargo, this is what I'm actually doing.
Well, just cause
Well,
you bring a
that's
piece
good.
of paper forward doesn't mean you're being educated, Brad, come on now.
Glad you asked that.
Guy got a high school diploma, but I
We'd
worked
like to
hard
see
for it.
we'd like to see the test results.
They,
after you're done, if you're actually paying anything.
They throughout the day do mustering sheets that I'm pretty certain of my signatures on every one of them. So.
I believe you, I just gotta get a little agree.
Then of course in the back part, the back page, it kind of gives the hours of training topics, which kind of coordinates with which and 19 to 22 hours of training. The last page here is something I get from the director of the North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs. It took a lot of reading to kind of understand this, and if you can read my small print, there's so much information, it was hard to cut and paste, but this is what they give me every year. It's kind of year behind. This comes from the VA as well. Kind of some numbers at the top. You'll notice it's some similar to my quarterly report. I gave you, went back 2 years, 3 years, 2023. Gives you number of veterans, and this is off previous documents. The number at the bottom, there's one number, 180 veterans, total veterans served in 2023. This is on the right side looking, going left. Veteran population, this is, you'll see the first one there for 2023 is two numbers. One I got from the VA, the other one's from North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs. I put those both in there, and then the other two numbers are based off of what the Department of Veterans Affairs shows for Emmons County. So 2025, they're saying as of 30 September, there's 217 veterans. Now that varies. The North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs, I think, is still saying there's 252 veterans in Emmons County. And again, this is a spreadsheet. Now I broke this down. If I would print it out, it's all by counties, and it'd be like, there's not enough paper in this building to cover the printout, that, especially if you go to the VA website. But this is just kind of return on investment based off of my budget. The figures you see here is what the VA is giving to various veterans in Emmons County. And then it's kind of, like I said, a return on investment. Numbers are small, my apologies. This took a good portion of my day just to get this cut and paste and make it more legible, so a lot tough.
I don't know, it looks good, Brad.
Boy,
It's good.
So you're saying basically in the end of it all for like fiscal year 2024, the total direct and indirect expenditures was about 2.7 million
Yep.
from the VA.
Now, and that's based off of what whether they're probably going through address and tax returns who have addresses in Emmons County,
Sure.
so.
But I mean, they're just roughly, basically, the Cliff Notes version is for about $42,500 in your annual budget, you're bringing almost $3 million worth of services to the veterans of
Yep.
Emmons County, directly or indirectly through medical
Yes.
services, insurance.
Now, bear in mind that fluctuate. I guarantee you, everyone in the northeast and northwest corner of this county is probably either going to Burley County or Kidder
Right,
County,
it's,
but,
it's not an exact science, but they're trying to just figure out if the juice is worth the squeeze,
Yeah.
now, I mean, and I would say that
So-
you're definitely, for your meager budget, you're doing a lot of good for the veterans in Emmons County, giving them services and helping them find ways to get stuff, and that's what we're looking for.
You bet.
and again, the numbers here for the budget, that comes from the director, and I did kind of bounce it off previous budgets, and it's pretty accurate. So, all in all, I think, this is within the ballpark, numbers wise.
You're doing good, Brad.
Yeah.
I'm a frequent flyer in his office and he's doing a great job, so, a great job.
And the last, this is kind of, I just printed this out. I don't know if that question's gonna get asked here with the veteran pictures. I probably could have just saved some paper and printed one, but, I've been talking with some of the other department heads. Kind of a snapshot of what we're looking at doing here. This is a picture of, it's kind of like a rotating, like a wall mount for the veteran pictures. They're gonna go back up there and it's gonna be southeast corner down in the basement. There's gonna be a little bit more to it than just putting these pictures up. There's gonna be an additional possible write-up with the pictures. This is based off of the book
Yeah.
that you have,
Yeah,
and I showed you, and, if you've ever gone to the North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs, there's a page where they're talking up there, where you can look at all the fallen heroes. And you can specify that to Emmons County, and then they have a little more write-up, other than what we're showing in the main floor of the courthouse or on the picture, which is just, I think, when they served and what war.
I visited with Brad a couple weeks ago after our meeting and
I
told him that we would support anything that he came up with, cause I know these are important pictures and they should be displayed and they should be displayed nicely and.
It's hard to really go into details. We threw out some other things, an additional, TV, obviously, tons of money's involved if you do stuff like that, but I think we got a good basis for a good setup. It'll be a good representation and memorial for the veterans that were killed in action or missing in action, so, more to follow, details, I don't really wanna go into that till we crunch some numbers and I can give you a little better snapshot and visual of what is to come, so. And then from there, moving forward with getting all this in place. So,
I guess I have no preference other than that, as long as the Legion and the VFW and the guys that are, really involved, at least they're just on the same page or
I
something.
think we got a good setup where, like I said, I think it's gonna be a good representation and a good setup where it's gonna appreciate, almost like a permanent memorial in a corner, and it's gonna be, like I said, in the southeast corner there, when you walk down from this store here, you got that little corner where the trophies used to be, so, it'll be nice.
Are the other pictures gonna go up, Brad?
The
On the
other,
wall?
This'll be
This will be it.
This'll be
Those,
This'll
yeah.
replace it?
this'll be those pictures,
Oh, you're not gonna put up the others on the wall?
others
be
like.
more of a compact area
This'll
rather
be a
than have people
compact
walking
area.
around,
Oh,
looking,
okay,
they're
sure.
looking for a picture, they
Yeah.
can just go
You
through
can
it.
flip, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and there'll
And there's gonna
be,
be a lot more data like him and I talked about.
Oh,
There's a room.
so
That's
kinda
got
give
a
a little
lot
bit
more
of
data in
a
it.
background on each one.
right,
Good. Yeah, I guess I agree with Aaron. If the, the Legion and the VF is behind it, I guess. They're on board,
Well, I think the continued discussion is I don't think it just has to stop with just this too, like, I mean, like, in the future, if there's better ideas or ways to even make it better or something, I would have to think that the county commission is supportive of it. I mean, it doesn't have to just be like, well, we got them on back on the wall and we're done. I mean, if you wanna be done for now, that's fine, but I think it's something that should always kind of be revisited and.
a little expand on this, we're looking at putting like these picture boards up, but it's gonna be more of a memorial than just these picture boards. There's gonna be,
Sure.
something designated, it's gonna almost be like, this corner is gonna be a veterans memorial,
It's gotta be stamped clearly what it is.
yes.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a lot more than just,
This book, as you're
That-
right, yeah.
I guess, picture board, so.
I mean, other than obviously going outrageous with, gold plated something, I just don't know if you can really go too far with the memorial is my point.
No.
Like, I think you can, if there's always little ways, especially with technology, where you can
Right.
incorporate little things to just make it better, cause I think that respect is totally deserved and it should be done, so I mean, as long as it's something within reason that we all agree is respectful, and I mean, if there's ways to improve it even in the future, I think it'd be great,
Right.
and I trust that you're gonna do that, I'm just saying, I guess from my opinion of, like, I just, as long as, I think we should just do as much as we can within reason
Totally agree.
to show respect and memorialize it, I
Right.
mean, whatever, I trust you and the groups that you're affiliated with are gonna do a good job, but.
And there'll always be a little pushback from certain guys, I don't care where it's at or who it is, why it is, but it's just the way it is. You never please them all.
Right.
You try to, but you'll never please them all.
Well, other than that, I know kind of a lot of information to dump on you guys right now. I'm here all day. If you got any questions on the last page or any of the information, with that is my, I guess, year in review and quarterly report.
Okay.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank
Good job, Brad.
Thanks for going the extra mile all the time, Brad.
Next deal is Alicia Scuffle and Nancy Dice Extension quarterly report.
Arcacia.
Acacia, excuse me.
Been called worse, right?
He was having Scott over there, you can give it to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I count, did I count him?
Yeah. Scott's kinda got the day off, it seems like.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Thank you, you guys know.
That's the best, dude.
Oh, okay.
Joe didn't get one, why you got here?
All right.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
You too.
Yeah.
So we started off the 4-H year by offering a coloring contest and creative challenge for all the school kids in the county. 224 kids took part in the contest. And then on November 2nd, we held our fall awards to acknowledge the 4-H'ers for their accomplishments and achievements throughout the year.
Yeah, just a few things. We try to keep our little report down to 1 page each, so certainly isn't everything we do, but just a few highlights. I wrapped up another Stepping On class, had really good feedback. It's always fun doing that and seeing the results from that. Did an eye health webinar And, it's been fun doing that, working kind of throughout the state, doing this Living Well series. So I'm working with that same group again. It's a partnership between NDSU Extension and the Alzheimer's Association. And so I'm doing another webinar in January. Had some fun going into the schools. I've been asked to go into the Linton High School for their family and consumer science classes. They have a food and culture class, so I did some visits in there, and so that's always fun, going into the classroom and watching the kids learn and cook, and it's very hands-on. So that was something that I really enjoyed this fall. And then I've been busy doing some different activities with the Tri-County Tourism Alliance. And we do have our annual meeting on Friday for that as well. So
I've also been going into the schools offering the program Kids Compost Crops and Consumption to Hazelton and Linton. We did it in Strasburg last year, so Hazelton was on this year. We rotate between Hazelton and Strasburg and combine 2 classes so that we can do one school every other year. And Linton, their classes are usually bigger, so we do them every single year. With this program, the kids learn the full food cycle. So from livestock, they learn what byproducts the livestock provide for us, compost and manure and the nutrients the manure provides for the soil, and the crops that we grow and the livestock eat. So it's the full life cycle. And then Acacia will be joining me on the next lesson to teach the kids about the plants that we eat and the nutrients those plants provide for our bodies. On this picture here, Katie Roth came to one of the sessions for the compost and manure class, and she brings a bucket of worms for each class, and they get to feed the worms scraps, and they get to see the worms break down the food, and we teach them that is organic matter and nutrients then for our soils. So they really enjoy that. On December 11th, I held a livestock program for our cattle producers in the county. I had 23 guys come, and I presented on the importance of livestock water quality. And the reason why I chose that topic is because I feel it's something that's really overlooked. Just because you have water on your land doesn't mean it's good for the cattle to be consuming. And since I've started in this position, there's been very few calls or samples brought into my office. So I wanted to bring awareness in hopes that I get more calls and samples to send in, because it does pose a risk and can be lethal to cattle. And with the price of cattle now, we want to make sure we're protecting them. So last year I actually had a guy bring in a sample, and I sent it to the vet lab, and it came back high in sulfates. And I asked him why he decided to send that sample in, and he said he was having cattle die. So Emmons County is known to have high sulfate levels, so we have to make sure we're testing our water. And last but not least, I helped get a new 4-H club established in Emmons County in the St. Michael's area. Acacia and I both realized how inconvenient it was for them people out there to run their kids back into town after school for a meeting. And there's 19 kids total in the club, 8 new members. And I had a goal of recruiting 10 new 4-H'ers last year, and I got 15 new kids signed up this year. So I'm kind of proud of that.
Good job.
I was gonna say, they're gonna need a bus route out there just for that pretty soon. It's getting to be a big area again.
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to see, right? Just on the back, just some date things, different meetings and stuff we've been involved in. And then in the upcoming events section, we have various dates. So if you walk down to the auditorium today, for lunch, on a walk on your lunch or something, you'll see the archery net is set up. So started our first archery practice of the season last night. Super popular. The kids are excited. It's always fun to get back.
You get a good participation from
We
the
do.
kids.
Yep. We have, we try to offer at least 5 nights of practice a month. We have to do 2 sessions. If we do it on a Wednesday, we do an hour-and-a-half session, so it's a little bit longer, so we have to kinda, but we have to cap the different sessions at so many kids. And we offer, like I said, 2 sessions on any night that we have it other than a Wednesday night, because we wanna keep it safe and get the kids shooting. And so, last year, I got a bunch of new archery instructors added to the slate, so we have a great group of volunteers. You know, all these archery instructors volunteer their time, so it's a pretty significant volunteer effort. But yeah, kids are having fun. If you'd ever like to come and watch a practice, let me know, and I can get you in. And then our soup fundraiser is coming up at the end of February, so mark your calendars. We'd like to see you all there. And the next big thing too is our performance review. So Jim attended last year, Aaron has attended several years. So our performance review is scheduled for February 25th at 10 a.m. And we need a commissioner to attend the performance review. So, like I said, Aaron held our portfolio for several years and then kind of passed it on to Jim last year. So I don't know, Jim, if you're still interested in attending or somebody else wants to, but we would like somebody to make a commitment to attending our performance review.
And the date is what?
February 25th.
February 26th. What time?
25th, 10 a.m.
Thank you. Well, I can sure do it, unless somebody else wants. Go ahead, somebody else.
I'm not any good at reviewing them, I think they do a great job. So I
Oh,
don't
I
say
know,
much.
yeah,
I just come in and say you do a great job and see if there's any donuts.
that's exactly right.
I do think you guys do a great job though, so.
Thanks.
Go above and beyond.
No, I could do that.
Okay, Craig's willing to do it, that's good.
Okay, we'll send out a reminder to you.
That would be
And
good.
Commissioner Materi, you're on my list for the private
I know. And I'm gonna be
Applicator
down to sign up,
pesticide
young lady. Yeah,
training, so,
yep, I got a notice from you. Thank
okay,
you.
don't forget about that
No,
if
thank
you wanna renew.
There you
It's
go.
it's recorded that she told you.
What is the enrollment for, children in 4-H?
Oh, gosh, you know, the new enrollment starts, of September 1st, and so I don't actually know what our total enrollment is of today.
Okay.
We could pull those numbers, but
Is it up or down from last year? Do you know, or about the same?
I would say it's the same or maybe more,
Okay,
not,
it's good,
not down. We stay pretty consistent.
yeah.
Some age out and then we get new ones, so.
Good for kids, no doubt.
You know, honestly, we could grow, we could have even more clubs and more kids in 4-H, we just need more volunteers. Our clubs are
Leaders.
very, very big, I think in the club that I'm a leader in, there's other leaders in that club too, but I think we're at like 50 kids in our
Oh,
club.
boy.
50.
Yeah,
And I
That's a
just
big
started
one.
mine last year, and I'm over 20 now.
up in Hazelton, that's a pretty big club, and down in Strasburg, they have a big club. We have a couple other clubs in Linton that are a little bit smaller, but, we just need more leaders, and it's a time commitment.
Did you
So-
have that as a kid, Jim? I didn't have it.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Was a leader for
Yeah.
quite a few years.
So,
We used to meet
And
in
it's,
home.
it's hard to compete with all the sports too.
Yeah.
They can
Well,
only do
yeah, I
so
would
much,
say
the
that's-
kids can only be in so much, so they have to pick and choose between 4-H sometimes or
Yeah,
sports.
so where do you have your meeting?
It's all up to the leader. The leader
Okay.
gets to pick the location and the activity or the lesson that the kids learn.
Yeah,
Of course, the Strasburg ones stay down there at the school in Hazelton and, yeah, so.
see, when we did it, when I was a leader and when I was 4-H member, we used to rotate, we'd go around to the homes.
Yeah.
Every month we'd go to another member's call.
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah, but if you got too many, that
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
work.
that's kind of the issue in some of our clubs too, limits some of
Well,
the things you can do when they're so big,
Yeah,
because
right.
Acacia and I usually host ours in the auditorium.
Well,
so-
yeah, you got
Which is
that
great.
many kids.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good problem.
it is a good problem. So if any of you are interested in being a leader, we're always looking, or if you know somebody that wants to volunteer, so it's really easy to start a new club, so just let us know.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you,
Good
Brad.
job.
See you later. Thanks. Next line item is Russ Lawler, Road Superintendent for the County Road Department. Morning, Russ.
Russ.
Fighting a cold?
I am, yes.
Everybody's. Everybody? You were dealing with pneumonia, weren't you?
I have no idea.
And still dealing with it. I'm dealing with it too, no fun.
Basically what I got, the Strasburg shop's coming along nice. Jackson, they're doing the electrical side of it right now. He should be done here another week, something like that. And then we can start moving our stuff back in and making it home again, and that'll be nice, so.
I stopped it last night just before the guys were leaving. Looks good.
It's come a long way and it's looking good and it should turn out pretty nice when he's done there, so. The guys are pretty excited down there too to have a nice, clean, new shop that you can see and actually do things in, you know, so.
You did an upgrade up in the Hazelton shop with the dev. Addison was telling me something about you had to restructure the stand where it was setting out.
Yeah, they just did a little
Okay.
moving around there and stuff, reshaping a little bit, but yeah. Other than that, we're doing just general equipment maintenance on the blades, other stuff, the trucks and stuff like that, oil changes, you know, going through everything so it's ready to go in the spring. We are working on a few riprap projects coming up here probably next week. We're getting geared up for that kind of stuff to do some of that during the winter here. As the weather and stuff cooperates with us, we're having a fairly nice winter, so that's pretty good for us, so.
Yeah.
You got the rock on site?
No, the rock will be coming off the fields.
Okay, it's a time to do it. You can do it.
Yeah, if it's froze, that's
Yeah,
fine to do it.
And then, we're installing a quick coupler on the excavator, a quick attach that we purchased here, this fall. We bought a new, excavator does not have a quick attach for it, so we have to manually change the buckets. You know how fun that is, you know?
Yeah, right.
So we purchased a coupler and stuff like that. We got a really good deal. I think we paid like, I ended up getting a coupler brand new for $1,500, I believe it was, through a Ritchie Brothers auction. And it's a new coupler. And we got everything to install and stuff, so we're actually out there just starting on that this morning to install that and get that up and running and stuff, which would be a nice improvement for that machine.
Is that a hydraulic coupler?
Yeah, I bought it brand new. I bought that in a ripper for that machine. Between the two of them, I think we paid $3,500, $3,400 or $3,500.
Do you have the hydraulic capabilities of it, or?
Yeah, everything's there.
So you gotta come off the pump though, or is there an auxiliary hydraulic on the boom already?
It's on, everything's on the boom, and then you come with some lines from the coupler itself up through the boom,
Sure.
and then back to your pilot valve beside the cab there and stuff, and then there's a switch that comes inside the cab.
Okay.
So it pretty much was all there and stuff, so,
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable for that attachment, for
yeah,
that size machine especially.
it was,
Change it,
and
that's gotta be, yeah.
we purchased some buckets earlier into the year. We got a rock bucket, we bought a ditching bucket. We do have a ripper attachment for it, so we got the factory bucket, 2 other buckets and a ripper. So we'll be set up pretty good with that machine to be well rounded with it, you know, so that'll be a nice option even for doing this rip wrapping. It's sometimes easier to load rocks with that, being they're frozen stuff versus a payload where you just bounce off and.
Did you say you don't have thumbs on?
Yeah, they installed it, Skylar had a thumb installed on it.
Okay, so that does have the thumb.
Yeah,
I
so
couldn't remember that, yeah,
After this coupler, it'll pretty much be a
perfect.
good,
Good machine.
with everything on it, you know, so
Machine that size without a thumb is,
it is,
it's tough to do anything.
yeah. I guess that's about all I really got. We're just, like I said, maintenance is pretty much the the main focus, as well as the Strasburg shop now and stuff like that.
And blade, the transmission was out of it, correct?
Yes, I talked to them yesterday, they got it in, the transmission is out, they sent it to Rapid City, that's where they do the rebuild.
Okay,
He's thinking about a week to 2 weeks for the rebuild, and then it'll be back, so
okay,
hopefully by the end of the month here, we can have that machine back, so.
okay, okay,
That is under warranty and everything, so everything's taken care of on that side.
okay.
Well, that's good.
How many hours on that machine?
3,100.
And the tranny's out? Never know.
Yeah, you don't know, that's the thing, you know. It's a expensive hobby to be with, that's for sure. That's why the warranty is definitely nice.
You bet. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Oh, God, is that a big item?
Well, now you know, like, when people wonder, like, why we cycle these blades through with warranty and stuff, it's just, you can budget payments, and you can budget when it comes to a county, like, you own these machines outright without warranty, and you lose a transmission, it's a big
Big
deal. It's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Big item.
Yeah, I don't.
What is a tranny like that roughly?
Yeah, what,
You know, it just depends how far they gotta go into it. Like, what the guy told me is, he said they'll spec everything out, and if it falls into their specs, they must not replace everything, they just replace what they have to.
Yeah,
So the price can vary, but
okay,
you're looking at, I know for a fact you're gonna be 20 plus 30, maybe even 40,000,
That,
just depending how far they go into it, you
that
know.
goes
that
long way up.
ugly winter when that one went down and that was on warranty, that was like 32,000, that was a cat machine.
Yeah.
this is a cat or?
This is a cat as well, you know,
It's like, I would say 20 plus easily.
Easy. Oh, yeah. They came and got it then, right?
They did, yep, that was in the deal and stuff. They were actually down, they diagnosed it. And the next morning at like 9 o'clock, they were here to pick it up, so they've been working really well with us
Okay.
to try to get it back up and running again, so.
So they picked the whole machine up.
They did, yes,
Oh,
we pulled the wing off that morning and they were here to get it, and like I said, they got to it right away with the New Year's and stuff. They were short of help as well for vacation, but they did get it in, got it out, and it's in process now, so.
good.
Okay,
Well, the weather's been cooperating.
It has so far, yeah.
It is only January. Calm down.
That could change.
But yeah, no, it has been a nice, for as much as it started, I thought it was a little uglier, but we come through it a little. What's your opinion on that chunk of asphalt off the highway there by Missouri Valley? I mean, cause I mean, if we do a 50, 60 foot piece there, we're gonna have to tar it. It goes straight to gravel anyway for what, another quarter mile till it gets up to pavement again in Hazelton there? I mean,
I'd say it's at least a
it's
quarter
at least
mile there.
that, so, I mean, I guess cause my opinion on it is, other than what the state maybe wants, just to save their asphalt, I don't know how much we really wanna go, or what's your opinion on that, or?
You know, that's I mean, the state, I'm sure, requires an apron off of the highway, right? I would think that they want it so far anyway.
You know, they don't do it on the rest of our gravel roads like that either, though, that's why it's like, if they only require 10 feet, maybe we should only do 10 feet, maybe we don't even have to do it, it might just be the state. I just wanted to bring it up, cause last night at that meeting, I'm just like, oh, I never thought of it, but.
that was the old 83 corridor one time.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's ever been gravel, or ever been paved, I've never known
I
that
don't
to
know.
be paved, other than once you get to town, then that piece through town's always been
Yeah,
paved, but
yeah.
that stretch of gravel, like by Mike Appert's bins and all that's been gravel since I can ever remember, so.
I mean, I could
I
reach
don't know.
out to like Ray Sayre and see what they kinda
Well, I
require.
heard that, so I was kinda wondering if you had a contact with the state on just requirement specification things, and just, maybe the state's gonna take care of that, I don't know, maybe it's our responsibility, but we should iron it out, because I'd hate to see them leave and then find out that it's our job, and it's like, here they were, right up the street paving, and we could have do it for a third of the cost maybe, versus bringing someone down just to pave it, cause it must go till,
You're talking about this south. end.
yes. So 65th, there's that road that goes up to Missouri Valley A, that's gotta be paved basically to that red line of 65th there, it's in a ways, like right there, you can almost see where it's pounded out.
Yep.
That's pavement there, I believe, yeah.
It is right in
It's
that
a
area, yeah.
longer stretch than just your average little apron, and that's why I'm curious. if that's necessary, and if it is, who's responsible for it, cause it's gotta be in at least, I mean, you're measuring 100 off of what, center line there?
Yep.
So yeah, it's gotta be at least 50 feet, cause, 50, 60 feet off that shoulder, but the other side isn't like that, other than just a little bit in, that one is especially long there, and so why it is that way, I don't know, but.
I can reach out to Ray and, see if there is any requirements or something like that and see what they say about it.
Yeah, cause maybe the state doesn't even know that Hazelton's doing a paving project, and that would be, maybe they, cause it's long there. It's almost like they wanted to pave that at one time, and then they never did or something, cause it goes out a ways, and it's beat up every inch until it gets to the shoulder, it's in bad shape.
It just goes to the right way,
There.
doesn't it, Josh?
So you're
Yeah,
better
it's
off with the
typically 100 feet on
gravel.
center here,
Yeah.
and then it kind of connects with this right away.
Right.
But it's 100 on the highway, yeah.
And on the west side, it looks like it goes to the right of way too.
I guess
It's a tough spot, there's all that turning.
you just wanna do
Yeah,
a
it's not
little
right
dig
shift.
and just see
Sorry,
Okay.
if that's our responsibility, or why it is the way it is, and if they wanna keep it that way. I'd say on the county side, I don't see any reason why we should pave it that far,
You did say it's 100-foot right away, Josh?
Yeah, around it, it's 100 feet of state highway. And
so it does almost go to the right of way then.
Yep.
yeah, almost
Yep.
right to the right of way.
So,
That would be in there right away, yeah.
so they probably did do it.
Yeah. Well, then my point is if it's the state's responsibility, then we should probably cause it's getting to the point where it's like undrivable, there's holes in it, and it's terrible, like, someone's gotta do something, whether it's us or the state, so.
Okay, I will reach out there and see what he says once and get back to you guys.
Okay.
When you speak to Ray, he approached me, and it's something, well, it's road, so it's something important. They got that Highway 13 stretch from Linton evidently out to 1804, where they've got their shoulders on that Highway 13, where they've gone down and they've cupped it, bringing this gravel up, and they've got like a dam. When there's a watershed off that road, they got a dam that's holding the water, and they're concerned now that it's new superintendent. They wanna possibly approach the county to rent the machines that we've got, these retrievers. They said they can't get in the budget to retrieve this material and pull it up to get rid of that berm that's holding water, cause they feel they're gonna ruin Highway 13 if they don't. So you may be approached or talked to Ray, he approached me on it, I said, I can bring it up at the meeting and discuss it. But I said, they're gonna use these retrievers on these gravel roads early on. But maybe it'll work when you can do it, I don't know, it's just food for thought.
Okay.
And he mentioned that rake that we've got also, don't we have a rock rake? Would that work in something like that?
Yeah, both those
Both
things
would
would
work?
work, yeah.
Okay. So it's food for thought, we're gonna be approached by Ray or someone, or you might wanna talk to him,
Okay,
okay?
Can them retrievers go on a tractor or a blade, or do you have them set up for one?
these are just for the blade, for the paralift on the front. We do have one for a tractor for a 3-point.
That big guy.
Cause I know they have a tractor, or
Yep,
usually
yep.
maybe that would be the right way to do
Yep.
it, go a little
Yep.
faster, a little
Yep.
safer maybe.
With some speed, yeah.
How'd that go getting them all hooked up, those retrievers?
It went really good. Actually, John went down and picked them up, John and Mike Wickenheiser. They picked up, we purchased a set of fenders for one of the spare blades. New from John Deere, they were $5,400 for the fenders. And with these new tires and stuff, they throw, the rocks that they throw are it just takes windows out constantly, so. We found a pair of fenders at an auction as well, and we purchased the whole set for $275. So I sent John and Mike to get, they wanted $1,600 to bring the retrievers home, and it would have been another $500 to $1,000 to bring the fenders home. And they did the whole thing according to what John told me this morning. His bill was $515 or something, that, with the hotel and the fuel and everything, so we did pretty well on that.
Good job.
So,
How did the tractor rental go this past year?
the tractor rental went really well. There was a little confusion on the rental rate side of things. There was a new salesman, and I take responsibility for that as well. He thought, my understanding was we rented it by the hour, right? So much an hour. His understanding was it was this much an hour, but you paid the total amount no matter how many hours you put on. So we had to go back and forth a little bit there. We ended up paying more than what we should have paid. But yeah, the tractor itself was good. It worked good, everything went good on that side, just the other part of things was a little wishy-washy, but yeah.
So what kind did you get, John Deere?
By Deutz, we rented a Deutz, yeah. There's only, John Deere was willing to rent it, and Deutz was the only two places that even rent tractors anymore. Most of them places don't even lease them out anymore, no.
No more of these big promotional deals like it used to be.
Not as of now, unless they come back with them, but a lot of places went away with it, so.
Yeah.
Was that Butler with the Deutz?
No, West River Equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Butler has that Fendt, and then they have Massey
Yeah, okay,
Ferguson.
that's what I was thinking, I'm sure.
And they
Which
said,
is West River, is that out there by Mandan?
yeah, west of
On the
Mandan,
west end of the north side.
by the truck stop out there, yeah.
A new, kind of a news.
New place.
Yeah, yeah. They were really good to work with and stuff. I mean, they were good people. You know, they helped us out however they could. There was just, like I said, a little hiccup there, but,
Yeah. So
so,
now we'll keep it, huh?
no, it's back.
Oh, it's back.
It's, yeah,
So you
we
don't-
just
Okay.
got it so much an hour until a certain date. We had to have it back by the first of the year, so.
So we gotta go through the same scenario again this coming year.
We do, and with the budget and stuff, the way it turned out and everything, there is some money there. I'm gonna be looking at trying to find a tractor that we could just keep as our tractor, because,
Tractor'd be awful handy.
yeah, we could use one even during the summer, working shoulders, roads. I
Yeah.
mean, there's always use for a tractor. We don't need a brand new one. We just need a good, if we could find a good used one that somebody has, maybe Jim has one in his Quonset he'd like to get rid of.
Yeah, well.
But, yeah, that's
Gotta
what,
get used to it, I don't know what to do.
My dad would, I didn't wanna do it just because of the county, he would just.
Guy just needs to find a good 4440,
Yeah.
that'll do everything you need right there.
I agree 100%. It would do
And they
the
will.
job.
Paying
You got
50% of
the
both new,
option.
but yeah, they're still good, they're still good tractors.
Yep, and that's what we should have is one or two of them, and we could get by with that. That's all we would need.
Yeah.
So,
Problem is, they're too good for everybody else to get.
They're still older, yeah, older.
And they're old guys, they're 78 models, you know.
Good tractors.
yeah,
Russ, just one thing I know we worked on graveling this year, and, our two trucks, then you had two guys work with you most of the time, right?
yep. Well, for half the summer there, we had two different guys, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I guess that worked maybe. I'm gonna say maybe we didn't probably get enough done. Anyway, our area sure didn't, and east.
And we didn't make it down into that corner. We just ran out of daylight, which we kinda knew that coming into it. It's gonna take a couple years to kinda get back on track here, so. We had a guy reach out here last month to me that wants to come on as part-time help this summer. And I'm gonna look at that pretty hard, just hiring another guy to keep our trucks, just the trucks we have moving, because
Right,
if we lose one guy to vacation, that's the first thing that gets shut down was that truck, so
yeah.
it's a tough situation, but I'm gonna look at getting him on, so he's there for us 4 or 5 days a week to keep our stuff at least moving,
And it'd be nice to have a couple guys helping like you had last year.
Right, and that still is the plan and stuff, it started working well, halfway, later summer like that, where everybody kinda got into a rhythm.
Yeah,
Hopefully we can get everybody back with the same
Yeah.
and start again and try to,
Do these guys plan on coming back again?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, the one Nick does. I haven't talked to anybody else, but, and then, the plan is to start down in your area. That never, we'll start there and then work our way around again is the plan, so,
Yeah, for sure east, I know we didn't get anything done there.
yeah.
Yeah. No, if you can keep 4 trucks going, I mean, yeah. I know what you mean, we talked a little bit about getting a crew in, but that isn't the answer either, cause you can't work it in right and, yeah.
If a guy can get straightened out a little bit, maybe that's something we can definitely look at.
Yeah,
I mean, but we need to kinda get things straightened a little bit more to kinda
yeah.
bring
It
it.
helped us when we did it.
It did, but I mean, you start turning 10, 15 guys loose, it gets pretty chaotic pretty fast, and
Yeah, right.
trying to keep track of everything,
It's pretty hard.
it
yeah.
is, it's
You
really
do
tough.
lose your flexibility when you have that, I mean, it's a pretty rigid schedule they hold you to and stuff, which really kinda hurts. And
Yeah,
I think if you have big areas, big straightaways, things where you know that they just need it or something, it can work, but you're probably almost better off just having separate guys that just one truck working with a blade guy, but just have more than two trucks, cause that's always what we did before.
Yeah,
Sometimes that seems to be the best. It's hard, no matter what you do. You're gonna go do awesome in Jim's area next year, and then
yeah.
me and Craig or Dan can
Yeah,
complain that we didn't get enough. Like, it's always, there's
It's a-
never enough. There's
It's
never
just
enough,
a
yeah.
huge county,
Yeah.
so many miles.
So, no matter where you're at, you're in the wrong
You're gonna
spot,
get
so you might as well just pick the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Not enough.
Yeah, Gardner's the only one, if he complains, just tell him.
That is a big
I got a
problem.
blade in my district,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
Don't swing by through my district.
Keep it at least 4 trucks going, pretty much so.
we'll give it a shot, we did have a lot of trouble, them 2 Mack trucks, and that's something that we should probably look at, they come off warranty here this spring.
Oh, boy.
And they spent a lot of time in Bismarck. It was basically taking one up and bringing one home is how we were rotating throughout the summer. And
Oh, I think
it's,
that's something you probably should,
a lot of it was emission stuff,
I
you
was
know.
just gonna say,
It's all emissions.
if you could delete them.
You're almost in a better boat having a couple
Some-
old Pete's or something around, you know, it just.
We've talked about that, or even at least one spare truck, so you can
Yeah.
keep, cause you got no truck, then you got no, you know, then it's shut down again, there you sit, and every time it goes up, it's at least a week most of the time before they get the parts and get it fixed, so pretty soon the summer's gone and you're still,
What does it cost to delete them?
I've never checked into this, according to John, he doesn't think that we actually can do it because we're a government entity.
Yeah, I would guess.
I'm gonna say, I don't think that's,
I
It's not an
what
option.
I'd be looking at, so.
Pardon?
About $5,000 a truck.
To delete a truck? Okay.
So I bet that isn't an option.
At least that's what you heard from a friend, right, Sid?
What's that?
You just heard that from a friend though, right?
Well, I don't believe it, but I think I can do it.
I was just trying to help you out.
But yes, maybe an older truck, if something would come through that's a
Something
decent
pre-emission
shape,
or something.
just to have a spare that we could rotate through,
Just to have that, yeah.
yeah, but the warranty situation, we might wanna look into that as well, what the extended warranty's gonna cost or
Yeah.
vice versa, because most of the bills that come through, they're in that $5,000 range pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take much to ring up a $5,000 bill, you know?
Well, I'd say you
I would
should
have to
look
think
into
there's gotta
that.
be some extended warranty available through MAC.
There should
At
be,
least at a minimum for the short term, look at that and then look at
Right.
a long-term plan.
How many miles are on?
they're
Low, huh?
just at 100,000, I think, roughly, both right around
Yeah,
100.
they're really low.
See, that's old.
Are they 5 years old?
I think they're 22 models, 22 or 21 or 22 models.
4 years.
So, I
That's,
mean, they get, just basically figure they're roughly 25,000 miles a year they're putting on them,
Yeah.
you know, so.
That's probably part of the problem too, though.
Like they're
I mean,
sitting-
this new stuff, like with these emissions, even like the new, like the Power Stroke pickups, they tell you, like, you gotta drive.
you gotta,
I mean,
drive,
like,
you
they
gotta
just,
come low.
you know, that's where I think maybe with these, like, these emission type trucks, you're gonna run into anything, it doesn't matter what brand, if you get any kind of newer truck with this emission stuff, they're just,
you know,
it seems like when things set, that's when they're the worst, they're just so.
It's anything, you could talk to any dealer, pickups, anything. If they wouldn't have DEF, you wouldn't have issues.
right.
Probably.
It's DEF.
Where do you get your death?
We get it from RDO in bulk.
Yeah,
They come to each shop and fill a tote
yeah, that's,
whenever we need it,
we
so.
can do
Is
that.
there a difference in DEF quality?
I think there
Is
is.
there merit to that or no?
They say there is, I personally have never witnessed it, I mean, but they say there is different qualities of it, cause Caterpillar actually will ask you when you have trouble with the emission on a blade or something, they ask you specifically, are you using our def or which def are you using? So there must be some truth to it.
So they could deny warranty?
They haven't, I suppose if they would diagnose it as that, I suppose they would have the right to, yeah.
Okay.
I think there is something to that.
But we are using it from John Deere, so it should be
Should be
up,
quality.
up with the quality side of it, I would
Keep
think.
it inside,
Yep,
tanks inside of it.
yep,
So you gotta heat it right on. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, out of the sunlight.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Anything else, Russ?
I don't know, unless you guys,
Anybody else? No? Okay, thanks, Russ.
good job, Russ.
Item F is public comment opportunity pursuant to SB 2180. Any public comment? If not, we'll move on to item G. Christina Sepina. 2026 ag land values. You have to let her know.
I'll go there.
Okay.
We're a little,
She's providing a handout in your packet.
That is a mission drill.
Do what's it?
Cause a lot of problems and almost everything ready. That's why you hate to even upgrade equipment. You know, like some of the older stuff I got, you're like, man, you're gonna get stuff newer, and you're like, I don't wanna deal with all that stuff, you know, just.
yeah, our quad tracks, we always, and combines, we always had trouble when we got with Def, and now I don't know, we switched to another company and, you know, knock on wood, we really haven't had any trouble for a couple, 2-3 years now.
So
I don't
maybe
know,
there's
so I do think there's a difference in Def.
Good morning, Christina.
Good morning.
So are we ready to talk about?
Oh, yeah, they're fine,
This is the one.
Yeah, that's the same one, certainly, that's the same one.
Okay, so here's what we're looking at for the next year. We need to stay between 90 and 100%, as you know, for tolerance, so if you look at the tolerances from 100 to 90, and then you look to the left of that, you'll see how much of an increase or decrease we would have in our ag land values. Estimatedly. So you guys just get to decide what you wanna do with the ag land. I would recommend 97%.
You'd recommend the 97%?
I'd recommend 97 tolerance, yep.
For the reason,
Because we've been slowly, gradually, having our increases moving us closer to the state average. And I would hate to lose that if something happens next year, so this 97% pretty much holds us steady. It's less than 0.5% the increase. And then, as you know, ag land values on the market are still skyrocketing, so I would hate to go in the negative on our increases. I hate to have a decrease, but that's your call.
What are your feelings, guys? You don't wanna get lax on it because the state will step in and push you to the max where you have to be correct.
well, yeah, you don't wanna do that.
Right. I think we wanna maintain the tolerances at or near the statewide average. I think that gives us a greater stability to prevent significant swings in future appraisals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want 1 year and have to go up,
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't that happen years back here?
Yeah, it happened one time, just county played chicken with the state and lost.
Yeah,
It's a Cliff Notes version, I think it got down to, I think they were around 90% and they held it, and then it dipped to like 88 or something, they bumped them up to 95, 96%.
And that was a big,
Yeah, it was like a 10 or 12% increase in 1 year then, which
you don't want.
technically they gave that away over the course of 3-4 years, so it probably evened in a wash, but you don't wanna see a 12% increase.
It doesn't
You
look
can tell
good.
people they got a deal for 5 years, it doesn't feel any better, I mean, I mean, you are better
To grad.
marginally increase or maintain rather than, you know, you can cut and be a hero, and then the next year, you're probably giving it all back possibly if it really does change, so you always kinda wanna just maintain a steady average, which obviously it seems to continue to go up, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So the idea of reducing or staying at zero is tough, just because you're probably gonna have to make it up. But
If we can maintain it, that's probably a good spot.
I'd hate to see all the work that's went into getting the values stabilized, flushed down the toilet with a big decrease.
I don't have nothing more to say, you guys have any more to say?
No, I guess I would trust.
Nobody wants to see increases, no doubt.
No.
Well, we could get 96 and we could see a small decrease.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Or we
The reason I say that is because I still feel that your tolerance has to be above 90, correct? And
Correct.
so I always feel like the sweet spot is gonna be 93 to 96%, just, I don't wanna get below that 93, cause then you do risk a big change, and then you're trying to catch up, and then you're not the heroes again, but I think maybe 97 just is probably a little on the high side, just from where just my opinion. You know, I feel like taking it to 96 would give it a small decrease, which,
Or we could split the difference and go 96 and a half and
Which would just leave us where, kinda right
Yeah.
where we're at. So that's where I'd like to stay,
really
Just
close.
be
stay right where we're at. Would be nice,
Mhm.
yeah. Because we're kinda right,
96 and a half.
kinda right in the
we
middle
just
there.
went, right?
Pretty close, yeah, it'd be like,
you're probably
One
plus
tenth
or
of a
minus a
percent.
10th or 20,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
you go
quarter
down the
percent one
bottom,
way or the
yeah,
Like a
a tenth of a
$6.50 difference.
per acre, right? On cropland.
Be nice to stay here, and then the guys that pay $8,500 for cropland could get the higher taxes to try to bring that land price back down, so people could actually afford to buy land.
Well, that was the only reason I was maybe advocating for the 96 is because, like you said, that 0.5% reduction. I feel like anytime we can steal a reduction, we should.
Yep.
Like, not to try and be like some ultra concern, I just feel like there's always these 0.5% increase. I feel like negative 0.6% and still keeping us at 96% is a pretty sweet spot. And it does give us the opportunity to just try and do some self-maintenance to just keep it from, it'd be easy just like, well, we're just gonna keep sticking 100%, let's just cheat it out all the time, and you could do that, and you'd just be raising it all the time, like.
Well, and we're higher than we have been for quite a few years if we stay,
Yeah.
if we sit at 96.
That's what I'm saying, I feel like my comfort level with, you know, not trying to be too extreme and causing us a problem, but I feel like at 96, we do get to reduce it, and if we have an opportunity to reduce it and stay comfortable, I feel like we should.
I could get on board with that.
Yeah.
Alright. I don't think it's a significant, you always make the excuse, well, it's not that much increase, it's like, well, what about it's not that much decrease, like, why don't we
Yeah.
take that from
Yep.
time to time?
No. There's nothing wrong with looking at it that way.
Cause I don't wanna be the guys that come back and have to put 3% on next year and be tolerant too, cause then you look like an idiot, why save 1 year to put it back on the next, but I feel like, I would make the motion to put it at 96%.
I'll second
Another
that.
second, Gardner?
Is that the appropriate motion? I mean, 96%, we're agreeing that that's the tolerance of the state,
Yep.
right? That's
Right
the
now.
understood amount when I say 96%.
Yeah,
So we'd be
96.
reducing the value,
on the average, less than 1%.
right,
Less than one.
0.62% reduction.
So that would put us at, for instance, all acre would be 617 and change, and this year it's 621 and change. So if that helps you figure
So
it
we
out.
are below the state average, that will be at that 96%
Yes.
of the state average.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Sounds good to me.
Yep. Second by you. Any other discussion? No. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. 96. Thank you, Christina.
Just for the sake of discussion with that, when you do change your ag land values, that does increase or decrease your ability for revenues when it comes to the 3% cap, not?
What do you mean?
Well, like, you reduce your ag land values, you're reducing your taxable valuation,
Your
so
tax
that,
valuation will go down.
right, so it's something to consider too, like, yeah, it'd be great to drop it more, but if you're concerned with that 3% cap, the more you drop your valuations, the less money you're gonna have available to do the things you wanna do too, so just, yeah, it'd be great to cut 2%, but that could really hurt you 6 months from now when you're trying to figure your budget too, so I think that's a safe, we did a reduction, but we're not gonna probably do too much damage, it's fair enough.
I think it's a good compliment.
Just something to consider, I mean, it's all a part of the, you know, when you talk about that algorithm, no one
The state's
understands, this is
master
a
plan.
step of that, this
The
is,
state's master
this is
plan
an important part of that step, you have to make sure you understand.
in their infinite wisdom.
Yeah.
Next item H is Clark Roth, annexation of Braddock City property to the county. Good morning, Clark.
Hi, I am Clark Roth, I live in Braddock. And myself and Dave Mock have discussed annexing some property south of the railroad tracks within the Braddock city limits, which most of is agricultural land. There's only one property that we are looking at this point that has no option to be in or out of the petition. Alan Burke in the southwest corner down right there.
Alan Burke, okay.
So basically what I am doing here today is to ask you as the county if you are willing to sign the petition or not to be a part of the petition to dissolve our relationship with the city of Braddock and just be completely under county control. Move over one, Josh, right there. I've talked to him personally, he does not want to be a part of it. The next one over, the other way, there, Anthony Mock hasn't decided yet if he does or not. You're the next one over. And then go over to the right, yeah, over more, yeah. Del Swalene, he does not want to be a part of it, which is fine, cause he's still attached to the city limits. And everybody else, at this point, will be included in the petition. So what it does to us really probably drops our city taxes. I don't know if they would go up once we would become only county. A lot of people hunt within the city limits, which is not legal. So that would be a good reason to be doing what we're doing. We do not get any services from the city except for trash. Dave Mock has a house there who gets charged for trash. He doesn't use the trash system. The house owned by Matthew down in Moore, right there, they do use the trash receptacle in town. So the water system is rural water, which has nothing to do with the city. So
Is the city hooked up to rural water?
the city is hooked up to rural water, yeah.
They are to rural water?
Yep.
Okay.
And everybody has their own septic system.
Do they have snow removal?
A what?
snow removal, does
Yep,
Braddock have?
they have a loader with a push blade angled side to side,
Okay.
Yeah.
That gets used in the city,
yeah.
and there's no reason to come south of the tracks, correct? Cause that's a state.
There's
Or a
no
county
road
highway.
south of the tracks. No,
Aren't some of those driveways labeled as a street?
well, they are, but as you can see on the map, I don't know if at this point they legally are. Up until a few years ago, the city did maintain some of those, Dave Mock's driveway and Matt's, I believe,
Baumgartner's at the time.
Baumgartner's old
Oh,
property.
okay, Baumgartner place.
Yeah. But as of, I don't know when that stopped. Then they don't do it anymore.
They
They're
got a full-time.
Hillside Avenue and Dakota Avenue would be the ones
Full-time
that,
guy, isn't it? Yeah.
You?
You're the full-time guy for Braddock?
Well, mayor,
You're the mayor, who are you, I can ask? Who are you?
the unique.
Okay, all right.
Braddock's probably like, hey, if you get chosen to be the mayor, you're also the water man, the snow removal man.
Dog catcher.
It's all catcher, yeah, there you go, I mean, it's a man of many hats, or woman, if you're the mayor, you're, you got a lot of responsibilities in those towns, it's good.
Go ahead, Dave.
So I bought that house in 2009, and the guy that passed away that lived there, they used to open their driveway and Baumgartner, so it's been 15 years, since that, anything's been done, so we basically get no services from the city, so
Okay.
there's no reason to stay in there really. But so it's your county shop that he's asking for this. You know, that's on the south side of the tracks.
Right. Well, there was an issue with mowing that we didn't honor. It was dealing with the mowing of the grass for the shop south of the tracks, wasn't it? It was north of the tracks.
Well, I think there was some property that was inside this, that was technically the cities that was getting billed to the county.
Yeah.
I think that was the situation with that one.
What's the reason for doing it?
for doing it.
Yeah.
Well, number one, we don't receive any services per se,
Yeah.
other than the one house with the trash. And I mentioned the hunting on the city limit property. And everybody in the community knows it happens, nobody stops it. So legally, it would be a good thing for the hunters if we did that. There's nothing in this property that is going to make or break the city. It's not gonna grow anymore because of this property.
The other growth factors in a lot of these little towns, it's sad, but.
Yeah.
it's not there.
No.
What's your opinion on this, Joe? Since you're the attorney here.
Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't, I guess I don't really have an opinion on it, whether the county wants to, sign on the petition or not. I mean, they need to have 3/4, so the petition needs to be supported by 3/4 of the assessed value. So if you guys don't wanna sign on the petition, they'll probably just leave you out, which would leave you in the city. So would be a petition to exclude property from the city limits, right? They also need to have, it needs to be signed by 3/4 of the electors in the area to be excluded. Okay, so if they add you in, that would help them with the taxable valuation for their exclusion petition, but at the end of the day, the petition has to be approved by the city, so it's gonna come down to a vote of the city of Braddock, whether they want to approve the petition for exclusion or not. So the ball is gonna be in their court, whether you guys sign it or you don't sign it.
And what's your opinion? What's your recommendation for this board? legal recommendation.
I don't really see any reason why you shouldn't sign it. You don't need to be in the city of Braddock if you don't wanna be in the city of Braddock. If they're not giving you services, if you don't rely on them for something, and if you do, then you might as well stay within the city limits.
And the dog catcher doesn't have an opinion, he doesn't wanna give an opinion?
Well, if I'm,
I'd like to hear, I'd like to hear from the city, and just, well, let's get all sides of the story here.
So. That's why we're here.
You drove down here.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Theo Naden, Mayor of Braddock. The services that are provided from the city is, like Clark said, the trash and street lights. There are 2 street lights at the intersections, so that is provided. There are no living areas other than those 2 houses to provide services to. Snow removal wise, again, I will say that I'm the street cleaner, and I guess the reason why I would say the streets don't get, the driveways don't get plowed open is because nobody's driveway gets plowed open.
Yeah, right.
There is people in town who will go around with a skid steer. Clark has his skid steer, he cleans out his driveways. I bring my own equipment in to clean out my driveway. It's one of those things, the city of Braddock is not exactly flush with cash to be going and cleaning out other people's private driveways. When we go in there, we rip up somebody's grass, and then we'll have to hear that complaint. Other than that, the only thing is it comes down to it's just somebody mad that we are trying to make them follow ordinances. And he expressed that at the meeting last night. The ordinances of keeping your lots clean. That's what it comes down to.
Well,
You
we're
expressed
getting
it at the
into a
meeting
ball
last
here. I did not mention anything last night, Theo, about cleaning my lot.
You said ordinances. You didn't want to follow ordinances.
I did not say I didn't want to follow ordinances. Why are we getting into this? This is about a petition for good reason to leave the city limits. It's not gonna harm the city financially much. The city board pulls down around $3,000 a year in costs to the city for meetings. There are city ordinances, if we're gonna go this route, that don't get followed. And that is a city thing, a city meeting. And I have gotten letters myself about cleaning, mowing. I don't think we wanna get into that.
No, I've got the letter too. To clean up.
Well, and I don't mean to interrupt, but even if you're annexed out, most cities have a jurisdiction around their cities that half a mile to a mile that cover their ordinances anyway, so I don't think if this is a way to try to get out of ordinances, you're gonna be able to get out of a city's ordinances, because those are gonna have to be, removed as well. I mean, there are cities in the process of doing that. Bismarck just gave back Burley County 80% of their jurisdicted land outside of the mile of Bismarck, but you're not gonna get out of those. I mean, Linton has the same thing too.
I'll even go one step further, cause I believe the Clarence Mock property, which is on the north side of Burks, actually got, so yeah, write down, Josh. No, one more property south.
No, that Clarence does not own that.
Oh,
Josh Becker.
Well, he did, or at least
Yes.
that's what how it was referred to. That property was actually reported to Custer Health like Mr. Evenson's was, and was cleaned.
Was it?
Yeah, so, yeah, that got handled through, public health and Lana with, with West Plains. So, I mean, if you think the city's ordinances are strict, the counties are in the same boat. The other thing too is Mitchell Street there, which is basically the highway coming into town, that's county, we clean that. So that's not even the state that does that, so the county cleans that, just for reference, I didn't mention the state, that's actually, we maintain that. I guess my opinion of it is that I really don't see the value of removing property from these cities. I can understand that, you know, you're not receiving services. I think the intention always was for that area to receive services though, like, and these towns are dying. There's a pretty real possibility that Braddock could be unorganized in 10 years. The county ends up taking it all anyway. You know, it's very possible. I'm not trying to offend anybody from Braddock, but if you look at it and where it's at now versus even 10 years ago and where it might be 10 years from now, that might just be county property, like Tenvick or some of the other smaller areas that happen. Kintyre's another one, exactly. So going through this process and creating hard feelings in this whole scenario just kind of seems fruitless. And on top of that, $3,000 or $2,000 or whatever the taxable value of them few properties are to the city of Braddock is probably a pretty big deal. I kind of liken it to, has anybody ever played a penny machine at the casino? It's pointless if you're not putting all the pennies possible in the machine, right? Like if you're trying to just play one line for 1 penny, you never win anything. It's kind of the same scenario with these small towns. You cut a couple lots off the side because, well, it's not, nobody's gonna build there, and then this happens, and then this happens. And then, I wonder how many towns the size of Braddock got impacted when the oil field came through, or some other project. And now you look at it, you go, well, gosh, if the city would've had that property still, it would've been X, Y, and Z, or, you know, now they're trying to annex property back in from the county because, like, why mess with it? That's my opinion. I don't disagree with what Clark and Dave are saying. They're part of an area where they're getting taxed and it's maybe unfair, but it's not like the intent was to be unfair. If Braddock had it their way, there'd be 30 houses out in the auditor's lots. And there'd probably be a sewer treatment plant. And you know, that was the view back in the 40s, 50s, whenever the auditor lots were created. And, you know, some people like Mr. Swallane and some of these other people could sell those lots off and maybe somebody would wanna annex out a certain piece or something, that maybe be a different story, but in a town that's only got 30 taxable parcels maybe, you're gonna remove 2 or 3, it's kind of a big deal. That's my opinion.
That's kind of a big deal when Bumgarner had that home up there.
Well, I think, and naturally, it seems that people are gravitating to living outside of town. Now Braddock's, you know, not exactly a town you probably have to live outside of, but if someone were ever gonna build a house in there, they're not gonna build it in the middle of Braddock, they're gonna build it out on Swallane's auditor lot, and so anytime you restrict the ability for these small towns to be able to manage themselves, you're just gonna inherit more, cause guess what? That Braddock city water system, if they disorganize, that becomes the county's water system. Like, you're not gonna be able to just wash your hands of it. I would much rather Braddock manages that water system than the county. So anytime you reduce abilities for them to be able to maintain those things, you're kind of taking on the risk of inheriting that same issue. No offense to the folks at Hague, but you might have a similar conversation there. They're in a similar boat. Like, if there isn't a way to maintain or grow those areas, they will continue to shrivel until eventually they have to disorganize. They have city sewer, they have city water, they have streets to clean, lights to maintain. I'm just saying, it looks like 2 or 3 properties and it's only 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 a year. To Braddock, that might be the difference between hanging on for that 1 or 5 years that maybe something could happen there. I think that would be very ill-conceived to try and do that to them when they're already having a hard enough time making it as it is. That's my opinion.
That land around there, Josh, how is that zoned? That residential, agricultural, how is that?
Whole city is zoned how the city wants to do it, because the county doesn't zone
We have no
city
city.
limits.
You know, just asking, how do they zone it? How is it zoned?
The
You don't
city,
know.
well, you know, the tax is based on the use, if it's a house based on residence, or agriculture is based on ag, but how the city zones it, that's up to them.
Is it all zoned residential?
No, the bigger lots that you can see are agricultural. Those, yeah, the 3, and then the one across, those would be agricultural. The line of where like the county shop, those 4 lots there, are zoned commercial.
Okay.
Everything else, the 2 houses and maybe Burke's place down there are residential.
The state radio get a permit to put, right, they're gonna put something here.
Yes, yes, the city has approved that, but other than, I haven't heard anything about that in a while. Yeah, that's what the state wants to put up there.
Yeah, somewhere around here.
Yeah, in there.
So in getting back to your comment about the water, I already said that it's rural water. The city has nothing to do with it, the county has nothing to do with it. So, but, and you're saying that we are the ones that may keep the city alive. But we're the ones that want to move out of, freely made the decision. So, and we're asking the county that it shouldn't make any difference to them because they don't pay tax anyway. So that's a null and void.
Except it's a city in the county that we want to stay alive, so your theory that it's null and void doesn't make any sense. Second of all, does the city of Braddock maintain the water system inside at all? Like, you have any jurisdiction over your curb stops? Do you send a water bill?
No,
So it's rural water to
Rural
individual
water.
citizens?
yes.
But they
They tie
in-
into the existing infrastructure,
Right,
yes.
but then you must have signed it over to them? Is
Yes,
that how that
yes,
happened?
because
Okay.
the city does not have the money to, fix,
Right.
maintain it if something were to happen, so
Well,
we
then, yeah, I
gave
was-
up all rights of profit.
I was wrong about that, cause like in
To-
the city of Hague, they still maintain their system even though it's rural water, and the
Yes.
city of Lytton does too, so.
Yeah.
Right, they buy water from rural water, and they maintain their own system again, so I assumed Braddock was, so
No,
that was my
no.
mistake on that, but.
That was before my time, but they just got their hands out of it and
Right.
said, you guys can make the profit, we don't wanna have to deal with digging up water lines.
Sure, and that's fine, but then that, yeah, so I'll apologize for that, but, I mean, I can just tell you that contributing to the downfall of the town in any way, shape, or form is not good interest for the county board.
But the
That's
sewer
the point.
systems is still the city.
They're both private.
All right, every one have been town hall.
Every city, we have no city septic systems,
Okay.
no.
So, all you have to run is clean the streets and.
Trash and
Streetlights.
streetlights and whatever else.
So on the south side of the tracks, basically 2 yard lengths. That's, yeah.
Right, my point is that as this discussion's already transpired, they're probably about this far away from disorganized.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an offensive thing to say. I mean, as soon as Theo decides he's tired of being mayor and sells his house or moves, it's not like, are there a ton of people lining up to help out with the city of Braddock?
Not really.
Right, and so again, like I said, when you wanna, why pull apart something that's just, it's just not that big a deal, like, I'd say just let it work itself out, like, it just doesn't, like, the county getting involved in any way just seems really silly unless the board decides that it's just time to shut it down, or cause it's gonna come,
On its
unless
own.
there's an influx of people for some reason in Braddock,
Yeah.
this conversation's gonna just continue probably in 5 or 10 years down the road, so. But why take the chance that it does, like if there is some kind of an influx or change, and then here it's like, well, we went and we're part of this process that really isn't, it's not gonna change a lot of lives one way or the other, so why change it? That's what I feel like, it just,
Well, and it's not our decision at the end anyway, it's the city of Braddock's
right,
council that's going to make that decision. I feel we have to stay neutral on it and
Don't sign to be part of the
no,
petition.
one way or the other, I feel bad both ways, but
I feel the same way. I don't think we as a county should get involved in a petition to sign. You know, it should be up to the people of Braddock. And like Aaron made the statement, it'll tell the story soon enough if it's gonna happen. And not to irritate a bunch of people.
Yeah, I don't think the county needs to put another dagger in it. Let it work out.
Yeah, I think so. The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Do we have to sign the wall too? I don't know. And it's not our decision, as we heard earlier.
No, it's gonna come down to the city council's gonna decide. I mean, they just need the signatures to be able to even bring it forward is what they're asking us to do. And I just think the party that we are has to stay neutral. We don't wanna sign something that could be the demise of a town, and we don't, you know, I mean, I agree with Craig and Aaron and everybody here. I think the writing is on the wall. But I don't wanna be involved in speeding the process up, or
I agree.
is my only thing.
I think.
From then on, we might as well move on from here on. There's nothing more to say, is there?
I have nothing.
I have nothing. Anybody else? Pretty much expressed it, nothing further.
I guess the land use. Clark, you say there's hunting going on?
What's that?
You say there is hunting going on in city limits, which isn't
There isn't anything going on?
hunting.
Is there
Hunting within the city limits, yes.
I mean, that's something.
And
they have to.
everybody knows about it, and they do nothing, they allow law breaking to go on. So,
Well, that's something that they have to get under control.
Yeah.
So,
That's.
if we wanna talk about that, we have Del Swolene's acres in that
corner.
there. His nephews or his grandsons are avid hunters along with his son. He is out of city limits. He's not out of city limits. Yes, you can't hunt within city limits. Through our research with the Game and Fish and the game warden, the city is allowed to allow a variance to this, which was granted to him. On certain conditions. The direction of the way he hunts is limited, so he can't shoot towards
The city.
the residential houses and that stuff.
So what I'm getting at is just get this all ironed out, get it worked together, so there's none of this questions on different things. Just-
And the 440 rule is actually, well, it's more of a joke than anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was just checking.
So believe me, that we looked into that and figured out how that 440 rule really works. And
how, it's 500 feet that you can hunt to a residence, is that right?
Occupied building is.
440 yards.
But if the landowner wants to hunt on his land, even if it is within 440 yards of a building, they can hunt on their land.
On his personal land.
Yes. And grant permission to whoever they want to hunt on said land.
Yep. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Yep, thanks, Chris.
Okay, guys. We're gonna move on, thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Amend 2025 appropriations in county road and bridge and flex fund, state revenue and auditorium funds.
I gave you this sheet this morning, it shows our appropriations.
Okay.
On the bottom, you're gonna see a few of them that we can go over. One of them is the county road and bridge by the $4,273. Flex funding, the reason we went over that is because we thought we were gonna have all these projects paid 2024, but they led into 2025, which we didn't have an appropriation for. So the money was there, it's just that it didn't get done in 24, the project didn't get completed right away. State revenue is at 40,000, I think a lot of that is the Broughton Law Firm, that I didn't account for, and the auditorium, we received some funding from the Lytton Lions Club to help, with the auditorium renovation, and we didn't account for any of that revenue, so we didn't appropriate it, so the money is all there for all this, it's just that we didn't appropriate it. So I just need you guys to make a motion to amend the appropriations to that dollar amount.
I would make a motion to, amend the appropriations for 2025 stated by Auditor Rollhauser.
Aaron just made a motion to amend it and accept it.
Second.
Is there a second with Jim Van Horst? Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item J, public hearing of proposed resolution 25-12-01.
That's 5:30
That's
tonight.
tonight.
Okay. Next one is K, second reading of resolution 25-12-01.
That's
That'll be tonight.
Yeah.
We'll go down to the miscellaneous tax. Go ahead.
Just so you know, like for a situation like that, what happens is we don't actually adjourn the meeting. We just basically, the meeting continues to the public hearing.
Okay.
Even though we leave, like, we'll just basically go and recess. That's why, like, your agenda items, like, why is that on here for the public hearing? Well, it's still technically a part of our regular
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, we're just recessed. till-
Yeah, we're just recessed until basically 5:30 once we recess from this part.
Okay. Miscellaneous item 1, tax abatement for parcel number 52-0, excuse me, 0014-00804-000 for tax year 2025. Excuse me, guys.
Oh, no, that one there's a homestead credit that she
A what?
applied for. A homestead credit she applied for and qualifies for it.
Oh, yeah, right here. Oops. I'll make a motion to approve the homestead tax credit for that parcel 52-0014-008-004-000.
Okay, is there a second to it?
Second.
By Mr. Miller. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 2, building permit for Jack McCrory to construct a grain bin on tract of land in the north, 2/3 of the northwest quarter, east of highway and west of right-of-way, west tract, section 20, township 132, range 76. Is that out here by?
Yeah, it's
Old
up
Salem?
down here.
Is that gonna go on the south side of the bins that are currently?
I just got it yesterday. I think he slid it under the door when Marlis was gone. So I called him. He didn't answer, but I'm assuming it's going here, but you
Well, it
guys.
almost has to because this is a section line, remember? So I
Yeah.
don't think he's gonna.
That's it, right away.
Yeah, and he's getting close to the road property here, but if he puts another one in the same spot, it would be over 50 feet. This is, still commercial zoned. Cause it's a mile, it goes a mile south of Lindsay, 50 feet back from property, so. I'm still waiting for a call back. I'll try calling him again, but if it goes there, it'll be fine, so.
I'll make a motion to approve that based on the information that Scott just told us about. And to allow him to build it as long as it falls within the guidelines.
If it meets it. If it meets it all.
Yeah, if it meets all the guidelines.
Okay.
According to Scotty.
Is there a second to that?
Name's Josh.
Oh, sorry, Josh.
You what?
It's all right, it's fine.
Did you do that on purpose or accident?
Of course he's gonna do it on purpose. I didn't make any part of that, I wanna say, on camera anyway, so.
Ouch, I wanna hear it though, cause I don't know what it is.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Miller.
Okay, so basically the motion though, the way you kind of worded it.
You're gonna be,
You made the motion to approve contingent on the approval by Josh. that it's-
Yeah,
not Scott.
Cause if it's going anywhere that would be outside of that, Josh
right,
is the
if
right.
it doesn't fall within the
basically deny.
guidelines that need to,
Sure,
that
okay.
it needs to fall into.
So
We're
contingent.
leaving it up to Josh's discretion
Contingent
as
up to
far as
Josh's
falling within the
approval.
guidelines.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor of it? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 3 is a tax abatement for parcel number 52-0008-00582-000 for tax year 2025.
So my only question on this is this good to go, or?
Yes,
I mean, the state,
he did apply for the PRC, but it didn't go through the state for some reason, so yesterday I confirmed with Shelley from the state tax department,
Okay.
yes. We're good. We'll get reimbursed for it then.
Good.
So you need a motion?
Yep, we need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
Jim Vanderwerf makes a motion,
Second,
second by Magrum.
just for the sake of discussion here now, with these type deals and as well as the residence tax credit that comes from the state, when that happens, the state pays the counties or the cities, right?
Right,
So the counties and the cities don't lose out on the money, the state is paying your share based on that amount.
yes.
Okay,
And what happened is he had applied for it.
Yeah.
And it didn't go through, whatever, and according to the state, give it to him, give him the credits.
right, but I just, cause that came up again at that public hearing last night with that street project and like specials and then they said, well, with this tax credit thing, that the city already loses money, and I was like, well, no, the state pays that share
Right,
of those exemptions, abatements, and things like that go through the state, that's basically an application for the state to pay their tax bill.
the only difference is, when people used to pay their taxes by February 15th, you had that revenue, now you wait till June to get it.
Right.
That's
But just to be clear on the situation, it's like when they're alleviated of their taxes, the county, the city doesn't bear that burden, technically the state
The
does.
state.
And another question on that, so where we do lose the money though compared to the tax credit is the homestead tax credit and the veterans tax credit, right? We don't get reimbursed from the
We
state.
do get
Well, we do for both of those.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it's win-win-win kinda.
It's basically an application to the state for them to pay that part of
Okay.
The only way that we lose out on when we do the abatements is if somebody does not apply for that farm exception,
Oh,
and then all of
okay,
a sudden they apply, and then we have to abate it,
okay,
we lose out.
okay, alright. Cool.
So,
Send the query.
call for the question, Mr. Chairman, we never voted on that, so.
Yep. In regards to item 3, there was a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on what was? If not, ask for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried, item 3. Any other discussion of anything else, guys?
I would,
Aaron?
We just need.
other than reviewing the bills, I guess, so. Does anybody need a little more time to review the bills here,
They haven't shown.
They're showing up yet.
or, well, just the sheets, I guess.
Yeah. Oh,
yes, you are.
Oh, yeah. I didn't look good. Is this historical?
So that we can recess.
Well, that's
Call
like,
her, see if she's got this bill, she can forget it.
Okay.
It'd be kinda nice to get this done, so you don't have to do it tonight.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You don't have to review bills on camera, do you?
I kinda tried
So
not
far
to.
the meeting, but.
Yeah, we tried to do that last month, but we figured it better.
One
this
question.
historical society, I think, is just the minutes for their last meeting,
Oh.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I think that's,
Where are we at with the planning, zoning and planning commission?
okay, thanks,
So I need to get,
just bring them up.
okay, so everybody got a letter and I texted several of my people, or people I had numbers for, Craig texted some of those people, most of them will be here tonight, if not all of them.
Yeah,
Craig and I would like to get a texting group, just a group, but I need your number and I need your number, but we have everybody else's cell numbers, just in case we need to, we can do that later, whatever. And I'll just text out a test, so everybody's got it. And, yeah, I think tonight maybe we should probably
schedule a meeting.
try to schedule a meeting so that we can figure this whole thing out. I thought that way, if everybody pretty much shows up,
Yeah, you can do it then.
and then, yeah,
I think that's good.
I think, I don't know, the couple people I texted, I think everybody's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
I mean, I just told, like, I told the people that I contacted, I'm like, I said, we have to worry about, cause we have people that have a lot going on. I said, the auditor, Josh, the state's attorney, I said, it would be nice to be able to visit with all of them at one time and figure out what's gonna work the best. Craig had said that some of the guys said, morning meetings don't really work cause they're feeding cattle and we'll have to kind of sit down and figure that out, but I think tonight would be a great time, and most everybody should be here, I think. The guys I asked, they're all coming.
I didn't have phone numbers for them, so I just sent out letters.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah,
The only thing would just be careful consideration of your quorum and stuff like that,
right.
cause you're still an active board now that you've been appointed, so just make sure if you're reaching a quorum, that Marlis knows about it, and it's still a governing body
Right.
board that's subject to open meeting
Right.
minutes and all that, so.
I thought tonight when we're in our meeting about the zoning planning board and the resolution for it, we could probably come up with a meeting time while everybody's here, since it's public.
Right, I'm just saying, you make sure that you're documenting things, or, you know, same thing, like if you're having everybody come into this meeting, it's probably fine, cause it's an open meeting, but if you're gonna meet afterwards, you might wanna just make sure that you're.
Careful.
Yep, it's
Right.
gonna be subject to open meetings and record laws.
And I don't think we just figure out a time to have a first meeting, so we can get all this
But
straightened
that's-
out, yep.
Go ahead, Dave, you got something?
Do we have to get sworn in for this and sign anything, the zoning board?
We'll
Make
need
it
a
legal?
blood sample, a hair follicle sample,
Well, I guess it'd be a good
Fingerprint.
point.
fingerprints.
Well, I mean, just in case, so it's.
I don't know that you have to
Sure,
sign.
well, you have to do an oath of office, so.
I'll have to do an oath of office, so at the very first meeting, we'll have Joe come in and sign.
Well, I guess technically, if you haven't done oaths of offices, then you're technically not a board then, so. I believe that's how it
If
works.
what?
Federal
If you
background
haven't done an oath of office, you're not.
Federal background check,
So you
if
can
you're a tax return.
At our very first meeting, I think
Not
I'll have
much.
Joe swear him in.
Right, but my point is, so like tonight, if you would have a quorum of those appointed, but they're not sworn in, they're technically not board members, so that's.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, when you, if you're gonna start texting and emailing
Yeah.
people, just be careful. like,
Right.
You're better to over document than under document.
My thing is, well, we got the cameras rolling and it's a public hearing, we
Yep.
just set up a time, try to come up with a good
Sure.
time that we could get our first meeting and then we can do our other stuff from there, yeah.
Sure.
Yep, very good.
Yeah, just come on, what you do. Just, yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
So I think we're getting closer.
gonna be interesting. I mean, a good interesting, I think it's gonna be. I think we have a good group of people.
Good group of people on there.
And just for note again, because this is gonna come up, why there are two people from the city council on there is because it's a county seat, that's century code, that's why it's, Aaron had brought that up, but that's why there's not a Strasburg or
All right.
a Hazelton.
And is there, I gotta ask just for clarity here. When you take two commissioners, can you appoint two commissioners from the board to serve on a committee, or do you appoint one and then another one can openly attend that meeting? How is that technically?
Well, two commissioners doesn't hurt anything, it's three.
Right, but can you technically even appoint two?
Yeah.
You can.
Century code. Century code says to.
You have to have two,
On
I
this
think,
board.
on that one,
Okay.
Yeah,
that was part of the requirement.
Okay.
And then, right, and then you're,
Two.
there had to
Two from
be,
the county
there had to
seat.
be a representative from, I don't know, did it have to be the mayor, or did it just have to be a representative from the county seat on the board?
Two from the county seat.
two county, two city, and that.
Right, but did it have to be the mayor? 'Cause
No.
sometimes they specify that's okay, so it didn't have to be, so it.
No.
Didn't have,
Cause sometimes on some of them different boards, the mayor of that city is like like they already iron out who's gonna be, but that one I couldn't remember.
I just wanna ask you, how we gonna do this evening? I don't want it to circus like it was with, that last public hearing we had, where it got so chaotic.
Well, don't let it be, Mr.
Just
Chairman.
let them,
It's
just
your
let
meeting,
them
it's like you got the wood and hammer.
Just let them speak and.
No,
I think,
You know,
for
the
future,
only questions that,
go ahead, I'm
the
sorry.
only questions that I've had some people come in, stop in and talk to me. Yesterday, I got one of them, and then, a phone call from another one. They're all just concerned that you guys are doing this 3% like building permits and stuff. And I made that clear that it's not. That's the only feedback that I've received.
okay.
I think, for future, after that last show that we had, we should get rid of, when we do a public hearing, the table should go away and it should be a podium. Because there's always this rustle with these chairs, people moving around, and it gets a little tight up here. It would just be nice to have a podium and the mic instead of a table and chairs, where, like I said, people are playing this chair roulette, trying to get around, and I think it'd be a little easier control. But in my opinion, like Megan just said, don't let it get into that. I mean, if you have to, that hammer there, it doesn't just hit wood, it can be thrown from where you sit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we gotta get it back.
Yeah,
You gotta
gotta get
straighten
it back.
stuff, you gotta get.
You can Uber it.
I just got a comment, didn't that 3-minute and 5-minute rule take, did you guys vote on that? That the
No.
state said?
We didn't, because we've never really had that issue.
Well, that would have cured the last.
It would've, but, you can have people removed from a public hearing too, if they're out of order constantly. You know, I mean.
As it was.
Well, there were a couple there was one in particular that was constantly butting in and on everybody, and, yeah.
Think it's
You know
chaotic,
what,
isn't it?
you know, Dan, I think that was your first public hearing,
Yeah.
lesson learned, now you know.
I mean, it could've been a lot worse.
It could've been a lot worse.
But just, yeah, remember when it,
You had one other one. We had the one with the battery deal too.
Right.
The second one.
there's very few times where,
That one was fine.
like, being the chairman really, like, gives you any extra authority, like, there really isn't much to it. Running the meetings is where your authority comes in, you're the chosen leader to run the meetings, whether that's here, public hearings, that's, if there, why do you need a chairman? Those are the times, that's the times. So,
Yeah, no, you did.
if you think it's getting chaotic, shut it down. If anybody disagrees with you, there's 4 other people here that can tell you that maybe you're being out of line on it, and, but that's, I mean, for the most part, you're running the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff's gonna happen. This is just for information.
Make sure you fill it out, but this
Yeah.
is first.
Well, I tell you what, we had a council meeting last night, and I asked a couple, like, I'm up for reelection, mayor's up for reelection, Wayne's up for reelection.
You think so?
Oh, we talked last night after the meeting, I visited with a couple people, they're all. It's gonna get interesting. We just can't find people that wanna do this stuff. It's amazing.
Is the petition cycle open right now? I
No.
think it is, right? No.
Maybe.
I thought it was after,
Yeah, soon, someone's already going around getting signatures.
I thought it was after the first, so that's why,
No, and you do know.
I thought it was after the first you could start drawing
You
petitions.
think there's gonna be?
Just it doesn't.
I wanna know my nickname too.
Oh, I made that shit.
Maybe you did.
Do you want the podium?
Um,
Because
I
that's on
just-
wheels, I can move it.
I just think it makes it, easier to be able to get around the chairs and the table.
I think Craig did that for US.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what
I know, but that way they don't stay too long, they don't overstay their welcome if you don't give them chairs to sit
But
there and talk.
anyway, that's what that is.
I think about that.
That's true.
The project, easements, yeah, we have.
You can ask the chairman, my opinion is, I would put the podium up there for the public hearing.
Okay.
Do we have a podium?
Yeah, it's on wheels.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Well, I mean, at the state level, they got a podium, they don't let you sit there and marinate. I mean, when you go to a legislative deal, like, unless they're asking you a bunch of questions, like, when you're done, if nobody's got any questions, they're like, thank you. Like,
Yeah, people get kinda comfortable.
But one thing about the state, they do have some pretty defined time limits, cause they gotta be in session, and they got, so, like, as you notice in the legislature, like, the folks that have been in chairs for a few sessions, man, unless there's questions, it's like, thanks.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just standing there like, and they're like,
Start with the podium, and if they still stay too long, then you put 2 uneven planks so that they can't stand level or. You just gotta- It's how you work.
well, it's tough, because there are people that,
Behind you.
said, they abuse it,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a 10-minute conversation, it's a half hour.
Yeah, that thing's easy to move
I
too.
will say one thing though, we've had some 10-minute agenda items that turned into a half hour, that was good stuff too, that's why I feel like
Yeah,
we've always,
especially
I feel like we ran a good meeting, like, even before me, like, just Emmons County's always been kind of open, this like Senate bill thing for public address, the reason why nobody says anything is because truthfully, when they come in, we never needed that before, and I always liked that open process here. Same thing with agenda items, you try and stick to the agenda, but man, if you have a good discussion going,
Yeah,
it's gotta go
absolutely.
10-20 minutes
And
fast.
I'm not trying, I'm not saying we put that up to push people away, I just think the flow would be easier in and out.
You're right, though, the chairs are
Just
kind
with
of
a
clunky
podium.
there.
Yeah,
Come up and speak.
and it's right back there, and Josh said they'll pull it out. It's easier for you to keep control, you don't have 2 people trying
But you
to.
have to, 10 minutes, whatever, 5-10 minutes.
The other trouble in some of these conditional use permits is generally it's led off by the applicant.
Yeah.
Well, if they have more than 2 people, they're sitting in the chairs, do they get up every time someone else is supposed to speak? Like,
So what do you
it
do?
is
You
kind of
want
a
to get
flow,
up
like,
and leave?
well, I think,
Or speak at your podium and then move on?
I think the podium might be a little cleaner just for the fact it's easier to move out of the way, where it's like, hey, these 2 people have all their papers, now they're supposed to get up so someone can ask a question, so they can sit back down. Yes, maybe.
After he makes his statement, you want them to be able to come back to the podium and answer what he just addressed.
Well, they sure can.
I just would agree that I think the podium makes it less clunky, cause the chairs are, they're already kind of in a tight spot, and then can you walk around them, and,
It does.
you know, maybe somebody might be in a wheelchair, well, then the chair's a real.
Well, and they sit back like this, way back, and then you gotta tell them to move up, move to the mic.
Yeah.
Here,
I mean, I think for these, like,
too, probably.
well, the regular meetings maybe ain't the end of the world, but the
Yeah.
public hearings, it maybe would be better to have a podium.
I think it would be for the public hearing. I'm okay with these, with this for the regular meetings, because people bring in paperwork and they wanna set it out. It's not a huge podium, so it's okay. It's just, I think it'll make it a better controlled environment that you can, and,
That it can be controlled.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got people that are flocking to try to get to that mic, and people haven't even moved out of the chairs, and it's just becomes a traffic jam there, and it's, yeah.
And what do we wanna do? Do we wanna be able to let it come back and make their statement again,
Well, that's up to you,
you know?
or I mean, that's up to the chairman.
Well,
I
if
mean,
you wanna
really,
let
like,
I don't want it for everybody, you know?
If you
no,
want
but I mean,
people-
that's where you're trying to run a tidy meeting, like at some point, like, you know, I mean, it's hard because again, you're probably just getting used to being chairman now. I mean, you know, you take these legislative committees, it's easy, by the second week, they've ran so many hearings and meetings, they know how it's supposed to flow. You might not have a year with a hearing, or you might only have the one with the budget hearing, and you know, the budget, it's always a little bit of a free for all, 'cause it's usually just locals, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of, you know, I would argue that's kind of up to the chairman in a sense.
I guess I look at it like this, if you have somebody that's attacking somebody else or going after their product or what they're, that other person should have the ability to come back.
Come back and say.
And answer questions, not start a fight.
Yeah.
not- You know, what, if you're somebody who's asking for a conditional use permit and you can't take a little criticism and you gotta come back every time somebody says something bad and you gotta try to attack that person again, that's not what we're here to play that game.
I mean, generally, if you wanna go back to like debate scenarios, usually you have each side separately state their case, not sitting next to each other.
Right.
And then generally, like, you allow maybe one rebuttal. Like, just,
Each
if you
individual
wanna
rebuttal.
answer to some of those accusations or questions that we're going to allow, like, sometimes you'd be like, we're not gonna allow that. And if it is a legitimate question, accusation, you allow for like maybe one rebuttal. And then it's gotta go to the next witness or the next, you know what I mean? You can't just have the same person reiterating for
One after the other.
and now towards the end of the meeting, once it seems like there's nobody asking, if somebody wanted to go with a follow-up, that's kinda up to you, but if you wanted to follow like some kind of a step protocol, Gardner speaks, then Miller speaks, says something about Gardner, you might allow Gardner to rebuttal one time, and after that, you don't let Miller go again, and then now you have
Well, like the
this-
public
yeah.
service commissioner meeting on the battery storage,
Yeah,
you know, the people had the opportunity to write down all these concerns and then come back
And address it.
and address them later. And, I don't know, I mean, you're in charge, so whatever you decide to do.
No, I'm listening.
We're gonna support you 100%, that's, if we think you need to do something different, we'll whisper it to you or send you out, yeah, but. I can't imagine that tonight will be another,
I think tonight is doing nothing but making corrections that anybody, I think the meetings we've had before were a side effect of not fixing some of the things we're fixing tonight. I don't probably see huge issue tonight, I don't think there's anything we're doing that's changing anything but for the better in the county.
Right.
So,
I don't think anybody's coming.
yeah, I don't think.
It'll be
I
what?
mean, if nobody's coming.
I don't think it'll be something out of hand at all.
Not at all.
Might be some questions, which would be great,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I would make the motion that we go into recess until, I believe it's 5 o'clock.
5:30.
5:30. I'd make the motion that we go into recess until 5:30, which time we need the public hearing.
Sounds good. There's a second to that?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
See you at 5:30 and 5 o'clock.